places one paw to brow dramatically actireo. Awa ode uya ike a vitai and way, ordikes, leggings, inste ernted odai, a slumptious autosheji? Laugh tickle. You can't see it, but the half of me that's off screen is break dancing right now.
Nie. I'm small. Hello. Hi. It's VRChat. We're back. Hopefully the music's not too loud. I edited everything. It's been a long time, huh? It's been like a million years since we actually did this whole VRChat thing. I have the air conditioner running. Hopefully that's not too loud. Hopefully the music drowns out the air conditioner. We've got everything going on here. How's it going? Welcome to the Clam Club. It's been a hot minute. Everybody's been begging me to do VRChat, so I figured, heck it, let's do VRChat. Welcome. I look different? What do you mean? I look normal. I look completely normal. Hi, Sam. Hi, Meadow. Hi, Archie. Yeah, I don't think you knew me the last time I did a VRChat stream. It's been a while since I've been playing a lot of like long-term games, and I've been eating up a lot of like my time doing that mostly instead of the other stuff. So yeah, I know you've been secretly begging me for sure. Hi, Archie. Hi, Indy. Hello, Ty. I saw Cal in there. Who else we got in chat? Archeron. Hi. Some of you guys weren't even viewers the last time we did this. Hi, Cammy. How's it going? How's it going? What's up? Furf, hello, bark, 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 bark. Bark to you as well. Hang on, I just remembered on VRChat I should probably set my setting to like actually streaming.
Any Durg or Durg-like creatures get out of this stream. This is a Durg-free zone.
This is not a Durg.
This poorly written note from Sync that they hate Durgs and doesn't want to see any of them ever again.
Noodles, you shut the fuck up. You're wrong. Get the hell out of here. Yeah, some of you guys, I don't think it's been around since I last did a VRChat stream. When I was working full time, this was actually a normal part of my stream. And the reason why is because I started doing a third stream a week to hit partner because that's a requirement. And this is what I ended up being. It ended up being like a Tuesday night VRChat thing where I would get home from work, I would jump in VR, do a 3-hour stream, and then I would do my normal gaming streams on the weekends. So very different for me. I'm going to edit the music a little bit because it's a little loud for me. And then I'm just going to turn it up for you guys a little. There you guys go. That should be good. This is kind of a little loud in my ears. Going to give it a little bit more for you guys there. Haven't seen those redeems in a while. Dude, okay, hang on. I got to get the camera nice and close for that. Hang on. Get over here. All right, get out of here. Hi, DJ Fox. Welcome, welcome. Whoa, a Kobold? Hi, Koinu, hi. Now I feel like the music's a little too quiet for me. Hang on. We're going to edit it again. It's been a while, sorry. It's going to take a little bit of finagling. I think this might be perfect here. This sounds good to me. Okay, I think it's good. Don't I usually have wings on my Kobold? So funny story, I'll get to that, but like I still have the wings on the model. I took them off. Not like I leave them off most of the time because when I'm with friends in VRChat, 90% of the time I'm like in a cuddle pile and the wings just get in the way of everything. And I'll be honest, like I love the wings, don't get me wrong. Like my feral dragon has wings, but like the I don't know, I kind of like the vibe of the Kobold being a Kobold. But like I still have the wings, don't worry, you'll get wing hugs and everything like that. But yeah. Oh, you got VRChat. Let's go. Let's go. Those virtual licks. Yeah, heck yeah. But how the heck is it going? Yeah, it's been a long time. This used to be a standard of my stream, and actually something I really enjoyed doing for the stream. I think it made it so that like everybody got to know me a little bit better. We got to like just chat for 3 hours. We would just talk about whatever. Why are you bonking me? What's wrong? What are you doing? Hey, you get the fuck out of here. Although last time we streamed, I was much more wholesome when I was doing this. But I feel like we have like hundreds of new viewers that like haven't even been involved in this. But I feel like, I don't know if it's just me. I feel like there was something that like changed in my brain like on Monday when I was doing the indie horror games where I'm like, you know what? I think I remember what I'm supposed to be doing as a streamer. Something flipped in my brain. I don't remember, but yeah, I'm much more wholesome. Exactly. My browser history is exposed on stream. I don't know about that much. But yeah, it feels good again. It feels good. 20 Kobold Yips. Welcome back. Welcome. It feels good to be back. I always enjoyed doing these streams where we just chat with each other. We get to talk about whatever topics are happening right now. You know, just generally being... I've always thought these streams were a little more wholesome, where we got to talk about, like, who I am. And a lot of people that are new maybe not have heard all those stories about, like, you know, me... like who I am, what I like feel about certain things or like whatever. But yeah, I'm accepting that I'm a Kobold. Sort of. One of the last times I streamed in VR, Gaby growled directly into my ear. I mean, Gaby is not online, but if he does log on, I can bring him in for another demonstration. Notice I had my otter model. Yeah, for VRChat streams, I often use the Kobold model. I really like the Kobold model. I think it's really cute, and I really like it on stream. I think it's like a different vibe. I used to use a different model on stream for each day or for different things, but I do have an otter model that I want to update for stream as well, like a 3D one that I really like. It's the one that like Furf and Swell and stuff like that use when they have their 3D out. I really like it a lot, but it doesn't have everything set up on it, and I want to set it up so it's a little better. Well, this is technically this model is the Kobold doll. It is technically a Kobold. I've always called it a dragon. We made it look a little bit more dragony. The shape of the muzzle and stuff is a little bit more dragony, but people always say I just look like a Kobold anyway, so what are you supposed to do? I don't know. I gotta get face tracking just for the Gaby roars. You mean the growls? Yeah, I think that would be fun. On the 3D models with the face tracking, I think that would be really funny. To have like the face tracking for stuff like that, especially in VRChat, I think it would be really good. I'd love to have the face tracking in VRChat, but as far as I know, in order to get face tracking on like an index headset, it's like I have to like open the headset up and like solder things into the board and stuff, and I don't know if I'm about that life, to be honest. You missed the canine model? I mean, that's around too. I could turn into that. I could turn into a dog. Am I naturally shiny? So I actually have been meaning to turn the shininess of my chest down, because people ask me if it's like silicone or like rubber or whatever, like a latex feel, and it's not. It's really shiny. I want to tone it down a little bit. Lip tracking on the index is easy. Eye tracking is a lot harder. I had a face tracker thing that I had for a while ago, but like I think when I got robbed a couple years ago, that it got stolen. So I don't know if I have it anymore. So yeah. We should get you a scaly map overlay, normal map overlay. Scaly map, normal map overlay. Well, the scales have a normal map. It's just that I don't have a scaled tummy. The tummy is just like smooth. Just hide. But yeah, I don't know how it works. I've never tried to set up face or tracking or whatever. And to be honest, I think to do face tracking on this model, I would have to commission it.
Alexis wave, hello hilo. Love the shader on the horns.
Thank you. Yeah, those are one of my favorite things. But yeah, Fergie, thank you for the freaking 7 months in the Clam Club VIP Lounge. Welcome back to the Clam Club VIP Lounge. The Wi-Fi is always clean. Yeah, I don't love that it all got stolen. To be honest, it might be somewhere in the closet or something like that, and I just don't remember where the hell I put it. But yeah, if I needed to, if I wanted to do the face tracking, I would have to do like a whole thing with like, with like editing everything like that, and then I have to buy the thing. I guess I could like make a throne and throw that on there and see if somebody wants to get it or whatever. But I would also have to edit the model to like include face tracking. So, I don't know. The eye tracking and face tracking would be sick, but yeah. I just tried to mute. No one's as puppy as you except Astolfo. True. Can I turn puppy? I could. I'm not gonna. But yeah, I'm not going to. Sorry for the lurk. You can lurk. Feel free to lurk. You don't have to like apologize for lurking. I'm happy to have people that lurk. I mean, lurkers make the stream go around, right? That's how it works. If everybody in chat typed at the same time when I had like 150 viewers, it would like overwhelm me. I don't think I could handle that. That's too much for me. He might be in jail now. I doubt it. I don't know. But it just is what it is. I don't know. Like, I've long since sort of forgotten about being robbed. But every once in a while, I'm like, oh yeah, I had this thing that I lost that like I don't own anymore, which is kind of weird. Who's Astolfo? Astolfo is my kitten. Yeah, it would be instant overstimulation, as is, like, you know, sometimes chat gets so, like, busy that it can be really tough to, like, pay attention to. Everyone see, yeah, all of a sudden all the lurkers are just spamming in my chat. I'm like, God, oh no. But hi, Mander, hi, Lanix, welcome. Engage zoomies. Yeah, I don't know if I could handle that. Even like when I get rated by like really larger streamers and then chat just blows up, I'm always like, this is a lot. I don't know if I can handle all this. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, I don't know. It's something I've thought about, like getting the face tracking and everything like that, but I don't know. What I'm kind of hoping for is that like Index or Valve or whatever just releases a new headset that has all that stuff built into it, and then I don't have to like manually do it on my own or whatever, or what, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, we're Kobold today. I mean, I'm normally Kobold for my VRChat streams, or Dragon or whatever, but yeah. Don't do what you do and get a face tracker and proceed to never use it because none of your avatars are set up. I mean, a couple of mine are set up for it. I know my Rex and my Canis are. I don't think that this one is. I would have to look into it. I think it might be a little bit, but I don't know. Like, I've never used it, so I don't know which ones are and which ones aren't. But this one is almost full custom at this point. Like, it's got a custom UV map, custom bones, custom everything like that. So it doesn't really matter. So I think I would have to go and get it set up manually anyway. The good news is that I know people that can do that. So I think I could get it done. But, you know, it would require money or whatever. Which I might have more money soon if I get this job, which I think I have a decent chance of getting this job. I haven't interviewed. People were saying, I don't know where people got this idea that I'm interviewing today. I did score an interview with a pretty good company for a job that I think I could do a good job at. And it pays okay, pretty good. It's more than my last job, but it doesn't have any benefits because it's a contract. But I feel good about it. I feel like I should get a second interview at worst. So we'll see. But I feel pretty good about it. You know, and if I get that and I got some money, then maybe we could work on that. Although I am kind of bummed that, like, if I do get a job, that, like, that means that I'll be able to stream less, which is kind of a bummer. I've been enjoying streaming a lot, but you know how it is. I don't know. Ultimately, at some point, you know, streaming, unless I blow the hell up and become whiskey, is never going to pay what, you know, being a biologist does. Let me get some water here. Did I drop something on the floor here? What would I do for the job? Well, I'm a protein scientist. So most of what I do is protein characterization, kinetic assays, and protein purification and stuff like that.
Flame_high. Good times, good times. In my realm hopping adventures, I've had the pleasure of several encounters with these crafty mine folks.
My crafty mine folks.
Concerned primarily with gems. Their eyes light
well,
up,
mostly concerned with
like
dragons,
Saint
actually.
A new dragon character. Hey.
As said, QED. Yeah, finding a job as like a new scientist is like really, really difficult. If you don't get one right out of college, it can be a real big bummer, especially with the market being as bad as it is. Protein hit you up, I need gains. Brother, it's not that kind of protein science. I'm not out here trying to figure out how to make you bulked up. And it doesn't matter how much gains you get, you're always going to be little anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So, you know. But anyway, yeah, but my work mostly has to do with most of what I've done is like protein purification, like recombinant proteins, a little bit of like antibody manipulation, working with immunochemistry. I've done some work on like larger diseases, but usually it's at a molecular level where I'm determining like the concentration of proteins in different tissues and cells, and what that means in terms of like biological characteristics. I've done some stuff on brain cancer and Alzheimer's and stuff. So yeah, the hand gestures are unnecessary. No, just like, actually, I might have been a little generous with this. It's like really more like down there somewhere, you know, like right down there. Does your kobold have a name? My character's name is Myth. Yeah. I'm a smart dragon. Some people might say that. I don't know. Like, I feel like when I talk about this stuff, it sounds very impressive, but I feel like if you talk like this about like any field, it sounds like that. Because like everybody has like a thing that they're good at or whatever, and that like they could talk about at a level that I couldn't talk about. Just because I understand this thing about science because it was my hyper focus, or something that I'm curious about, doesn't mean that I'm like smarter than anyone else necessarily. I'm good at it, but like, you know, that's just because I worked at it. That's really what the difference is. You're literally crying. Where's the serum to turn us into winged reptiles? If I had it, I would tell you. In a heartbeat, because let me tell you, it is in my best interest to make you all reptiles. Making everybody a big hot reptile, oh, I would be very happy with myself right now. You went to vet medicine, and so you have a degree. The licensing for it is a struggle. Yeah, I've heard that being a med tech is like really decent money, especially like vet tech stuff. Can be really decent money for like the level of work it is, but I know that like any medical licensing stuff is pretty difficult to get. I'm not in medicine technically. I don't even like to work in GMP labs if I have a choice. I suck at manufacturing. I suck at quality control. I suck at all that stuff. What I am good at is breaking stuff and seeing how it works, basically, to be honest. So I don't know. Your thing is League of Legends. Koinu, are you gonna watch? Well, I don't really care about the the European League, so I don't know. You'll probably, I don't know. Didn't your finals just happen? European League is tragic. Have a good lurk, Sam. Have a good lurk. You could stay a Fluffy Fox. I mean, if I could give that to you, I would give you that too. But yeah, I don't know. You're not a good test taker. Oh, yeah. I'm a really good test taker because I retain information like really easy. I don't know if this is like an ADHD thing. And for those of you who don't know, I am neurodivergent and have ADHD. Probably some level of autism in there too. They are comorbid often, but half your league is European. No, half my league is Korean. But for me, it's a big struggle for me to like do organizational stuff, right? So for me, I just will retain information very easily. So tests are very easy. I don't really even need to study for tests. I just sort of know the information because like I was in the class paying attention and I remember like, oh yeah, on slide 12 on day 6 of my lectures that it said this. I just know or whatever, right? So tests are often very easy unless it's like applied tests like math. Those can be a little bit difficult. But the thing that I suck at, that I'm very, very bad at, is homework and like committing to like doing projects on time. I will procrastinate forever on projects. And the worst thing is that I will like I like at work or whatever, when I have a lot of different projects, like I'm juggling, I often like forget where I am in projects or like forget what like I was doing yesterday or like what process I was doing or like what phase of everything I'm done. So one of the biggest things that's been hard for me in the last like, you know, whatever number of years of my career has been like, especially as I get promoted and like go into larger roles and like start managing my own projects and having to like be the person that's leading those projects, is like being able to like organize my thoughts into like what's due on what day, what phases things are, what tasks I have and stuff like that. And so one of the things that I did, and maybe this could help other people that have ADHD if they're struggling with this, because that's the thing about being a lab scientist, is a lot of time you just have all these experiments running and you're like, what is happening? What's happening on each day? When do I need to do it? So what I do is every morning when I wake up, anyway, every day when I get to work, the first thing I do is I sit down with my breakfast and I'll take out like my agenda and I write down everything that's I'm supposed to do that day. And then I sort of like put numbers beside it as, or like stars or like whatever, as like, these are must do tasks. Like these are due today. They have to happen today. And then I have a list of like stretch goals that are like, I could do this today. It's not a big deal. If you've got free time, you know, and you're just sitting down, you can, you know, get one of these out. And then the other thing that I do, so that way, you know, every time I get back to my desk, I can like sit and look at my list of tasks and be like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what I have to do today. Remember that you needed to do this. And then I'll just like, you know, think, okay, I'm going to start with this. I'll do that. And then I'll move into this. And then I just write that down. I put it in a list, and that's what I'm doing today. And then the other thing I started doing at my last job that I thought was really interesting was like I would make like a Trello board for myself, kind of. And on the wall by my desk, I had like a pillar, like a big piece of like concrete that was like just empty. And I got like every color of sticky note that you can imagine. And then I assigned each different color of sticky note a different type of task. So one would be like a data analysis thing. One would be like lab maintenance. One would be like documentation. One would be like, you know, whatever. These different kinds of tasks that I have to do. And I would like write those things down, and then I'd put them on there, and any other notes that I needed to do it for it. And I would take them and I would put them up on the wall. And then when I had a minute to think about it, I would like put them onto different days. And I had like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as like, or Friday, as like 5 different columns. And then I just had like below that, I had like things that hadn't been assigned days or whatever. And I would take the sticky notes and I would be like, hey, you need to go to this day. You're going to that day. You're going to this day or whatever, right? And then like I would have like another little thing like on the sticky note. I would say like what the status of that thing is and whether it needed to move to another day or whatever. And that way, anytime that like somebody would come up to me in the lab and they would be like, hey, like, can you do this? I'd be like, okay, let me write that down. And I would write it down on a sticky note and I'd put it up on my thing, on my little chart. And that way, every time I was lost, I could like ground myself in the Trello board, basically.
Grins widely, all over mouth, trying to contain laughter. Our dear agender Dong Lord, you've got a point. But can one blame Sync? After all, dragon-like creatures. They're quite hard on those whiskers of theirs. Chuckles mischievously, it's a dragon crush continuum.
I'm hard on those whiskers? I don't have whiskers. What are you talking about? Well, my Kobold doesn't. But yeah, that's something that I started doing for my work. And I found that made it a lot easier for me to like wrap my brain around what I needed to do. It's really difficult to do, but because it was like something that like I wrangled around and it gave me structure, that structure really kept me like going at work. It really helped me like track what I was doing and whatnot, which is really nice. You know, I don't know. That's like the hardest thing to do as like as a lab scientist for me. But like the things that's easy for me is like, oh, I could just like do this thing. Like there's like a task or whatever. And I have really easy time thinking about like how to tinker with stuff and do things in ways that a lot of people don't normally think about. Which is a weird skill to try to explain to an interviewer because like a lot of jobs don't necessarily require you to think about things that way or think about things like in a way where it's like, hey, by the way, like, what I'm good at is breaking stuff and figuring out why it broke or whatever, which is a really good researcher ability, but like it doesn't make people money all the time, not in an obvious way. So it's a difficult thing to like tell an interviewer about. So what I usually tell people is that I'm just a good problem solver, which, you know, is a little generic, but when I tell people that, it's like, you know, I'm a creative thinker. I like to come up with ways to do things that other people haven't thought about, because like one of my favorite things to do is like as I'm doing a process, I'll like question why we're doing that process in a certain way every time I do it, and then look for ways that I could do it better, look for ways that like I could take out error or take out like extraneous steps or make it like more optimized or something like that. I love tinkering with stuff like that, but I am so abysmal at like organization, and anytime anything gets like a little boring or just is like, oh, document or like type all this data out, I'm like, it's so boring. My Kobold has horns at the back of its cheekbones like whiskers. These guys? Yeah, they're pretty cute. I like these. For those of you who are new, have you seen like my horn texture and stuff? Yeah, that's the thing is like, that's the ADHD problem, right? It's like the structure is amazing. And if I could just have somebody that like gently reminded me of what I need to do at every hour of every day, I'd be like, oh, I'm a freaking superhero. The structure feels so good, but self-imposing that structure is so difficult. The people that can just do homework and it's like not a big deal. Like it's just like it's like a neurotypical superpower that's like, oh, I see that the dishes need to get done. I'll just do the dishes really quick. And my ass is like, oh yeah, I see that the dishes need to get done. Anyway, let me just go ahead and like be anxious about that for 4 days. And then eventually it'll become a giant pile of dishes that like I don't have any dishes left in the house. So now I have no choice. But like the existential dread of having to wash like an hour worth of dishes makes me want to die. And so now I'm like forced to do it because I literally don't have a plate to eat off of. Yeah, that's my struggle. The way that people can just like raw dog life and just like not have to worry about procrastinating on tasks is crazy to me. You see the dishes need to get done and want to procrastinate so hard that you go do a different chore that he's doing. That is actually kind of a sick hack where you're like, oh, that's giving me anxiety, but if I do this other thing, it'll like make it better or whatever. Just do the dishes when you're done eating. Hell no, dude, I can't do that. That's like a superpower. Hi, Jonas. How's it going? Dude, that's literally a superpower. How do you do that? How is that possible? What do you mean? Dude, yeah, I know, but like I have to put the task off. I don't know why. It's just how my brain works. I'm like, oh, there's a task that needs to be done. I know that it needs to be done, but I could do it later, so I will. Because like, even like, you know what the worst part about ADHD is? Like the thing that like sucks the most is the thing where you're like, I know a thing needs to happen, or even worse than that, you know, there's a thing later in the day. Like say it's like noon right now, and you're like, well, I have dinner at 6, right? Well, if I want to get to dinner at 6, I probably need to leave it half an hour before then. Just in case, I probably need to leave at like 6:50 or 5:15. Let's round that up to 5, since that's basically 45 minutes. So that's 5 o'clock. And that means that I need to get ready around 4 o'clock. Okay, well, at 4 o'clock, I'm going to have to go shower and do my hair and everything like that. Well, that's probably you leave another half an hour for me to procrastinate. So that's 3:30. That's basically 3 o'clock. Before then, I should probably have lunch. It's noon right now, so that'll take me like half an hour to make lunch. Let's round up. That'll be noon or 1 o'clock, and then it'll be 1:15 by the time I eat. Let's make it 1:30. I'll finish food. Then I got to do the dishes, which will take me another half hour. So that's 2 o'clock, which is basically 3 o'clock. And then I need to start getting ready for my dinner. So I can't do anything for the next 6 hours. I just have to sit here and have anxiety about going to dinner for the next 6 hours. That is like the worst part. 3:30 is basically 3 o'clock is crazy. Brother, that's how my brain works. I can't tell you. It's like, it's just how it works. I have no choice. Like, I wish my brain wasn't like this, but that's how it is. So then like, there'll be all these things that I could totally do in that 6 hours. I could like do the dishes. I could apply for jobs. I could like study something. I could work on stream assets. I could do literally anything. But I don't do any of it, and instead I like play chess on my phone because I could stop doing that at any moment and just walk away when it becomes more important to do something else. I'll just find something like scrolling Twitter or scrolling TikTok, because at some point my anxiety of needing to get to dinner will like be bigger than like my need to procrastinate or feel like, you know, whatever. Yeah, I just go into wait mode and it sucks. That's like the worst thing. It's why I don't get productive most days, but like, I don't know. It's just, you kind of go over it. I wish that like, I will say like at work, sometimes this does affect me, but like the thing about work is that the anxiety of like, the thing that makes me productive at work genuinely is like the anxiety of knowing that if I don't do a good job that like I'll get fired or whatever, and then I won't have any money or whatever, or like somebody will judge me and I'm being perceived by people that are like judging me for my work, is larger than my need to procrastinate most days. Unless I have depression or something, or I'm tired and then it shifts and then I do nothing at work until like 3 hours before the day is out, and then I do everything and then I burn out. So, yeah, I don't know. You round time to half hours. Sometimes you can manage to round to 15 minutes. Yeah, for sure. I will round an hour up to 15 minutes for sure. Anyways, not to be too relatable, but that's how ADHD be. But yeah, but anyway, I am looking forward to like potentially getting back to work, even though it's going to make me like there's going to be less stream or whatever. I think that getting back to work will be like really good for me. How do I live like this? Brother, half the world is living like this. Just not everybody's like a neurotypical person. Most of the world, not most, but a lot of the world has ADHD or neurodivergence, like a good percentage, and like, you know, just how things are. You go straight into VRChat. I have been trying to like not rely on VRChat so much. Something I've ever since I got laid off from work, I've been in VRChat basically every night, all night. And like I find that what I'm usually introverted, right? I don't really want to hang out with people all the time, but VRChat makes it feel like I need to be hanging out with people all the time. And I like my people in VRChat, but what I'm starting to realize is that all that time I spend in VRChat doing nothing, I could be reading books, I could be working on stream, I could be doing other things, or even just playing regular video games in my free time. And I'm not doing those things, which kind of sucks. So I'm starting to think like maybe I should be in VRChat a little less, like maybe just a little less, and maybe just like read some books or something instead. 5 to 10% of people have ADHD. That's a lot of people. 10%? That's a lot of people. 1 in every 10 people you meet has ADHD. It's like a normal thing. Although it feels like everybody in furry has ADHD. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the concept of being back at work. In a way, I kind of dread it because I love the freedom I have from like not being at work every day. But in another way, I mean, having the money would be really nice. I'm not gonna lie. I make enough money off of Twitch to like pay the bills, but it's not perfect. It's definitely like I could be doing more. So more and more, you're thinking you are, but you've never been tested. See, that's the thing is like during the pandemic, a lot of people got tested for that, and then there was like a big surge in people that were needing the medications. So. You're making a fursuit while we listen to the stream? Let's go. What kind of fursuit is it? Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of people that are just undiagnosed. It's like autism diagnosis is sort of like went up as it was normalized. And like people are like, oh my God, what's causing all the autism? And it's like, no, we're just getting better at figuring out who's autistic and what autism looks like. It could be tough to do your testing. My testing was pretty easy. But I already had like a test when I was a kid because my parents got it for me, and then like I went when I was in college, and I did the assessment in college, and they basically gave it to me pretty easy because they were like, well, you already tested as a kid, we can see your records here, so we'll just have you sit down with a psychologist and they'll talk to you for a little bit and test you, and it came up like turbo positive. I've never done the autism analysis, but after having been ADHD for a long time, I've done like self-analyses, which isn't medicine, but like they come up pretty positive as well. So it's a secret. It's a secret to everyone. But I don't know. I like my husband's always like, you should just go and check if you get like, just do an autism assessment. And I'm like, what could come of it? What does it mean anything? It doesn't help. Like, if I am or I'm not, like, it doesn't really change anything. Like, I know how I behave and how my body works or how my brain works. And, like, sure, I could talk to a therapist about those things, or I guess. But, like, I understand it. I know what to do. They're probably just going to tell me all the things that I already know. So it's like, what difference does it make? I don't know. You got your diagnosis this year, and you recently got put on stimulants. They do help. I think I need a little bit stronger ones. I think if I get this job, I'll probably bump my meds up a little bit just to make sure I can stay really focused at the job, and make sure that I do a good job at it. Right now I'm on a lower dosage, like while I'm streaming, because I don't really feel like I need to be super focused during stream, you know? In fact, I think that maybe being focused like makes the stream worse, but I don't know. Appears to be more intense when you get diagnosed. Maybe. I think it's more that you just notice it more in yourself. Like, you notice the things that, like, you are, that you, like I noticed after I started realizing that I might be or have some low-level amount of autism, I noticed there were certain things that, like, really are comorbid with autism that, like, I notice more now that I think about it, which is kind of a curse. Like, being uncomfortable with certain textures, or like being unable to make eye contact with people, or like things like that, or like parroting emotions back at people, which makes me uncomfortable a little bit to think about, to do, but it is what it is, I guess. I don't know. Like, I'm not a different person necessarily. I'm just more aware of what's going on. If they give you more stimulants, they might remove the dumbass. Trust me. Trust me when I say the dumbass will never change. Trust me, that's not going away. Microfiber towels, those don't bug me too much. What really bugs me is dry paper. I can't handle paper. Paper is disgusting. It's so gross. That's the one that like really gets me more than anything. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a little like with the job thing for the interview, I don't think it's like as much of a research position as I've been in before. And I like being in research mostly. I think it's my favorite way to do my job. But unfortunately, in the current climate, it's like really difficult to like get jobs that are like pure research unless you're just like a professor at a university. But clean drinking glasses get you. The glass feels gritty. Hey, Rob, I got news for you. Does it make you feel like physically uncomfortable to think about the texture? Because that's what it is for me. When I touch a texture that like, yeah, but thinking about it will still gross me out for certain textures. Like even like it makes my fingers tingle. It's disgusting. But if I do touch the texture, I like physically get like gag reflex. Like I feel uncomfortably like gross. Like it's so uncomfortable. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it. Even talking about it is making me feel physically uncomfortable. It's wild. There was this one time I was, and it's making me feel gross even just saying this. Me and my husband will like eat like salamis for snacks or whatever. So like you get like a finocchia or whatever, like salami, and you chop it up and you have that as a snack for like while we're watching TV. And like they often come wrapped in like paper or whatever before like you open them up and then you chop them up. And I was trying to open up this salami that was in this like brown paper, and like I literally could not bring myself to open it because like every time I touched the paper, I like physically like felt sick, and I was like, I can't do it, and I had to have my husband like literally open up the paper. I was like, I can't, I don't want to touch it. I literally could not touch it. How do you do paperwork? That doesn't bother me as much. And the thing is if I think about it, it bugs me a lot. But if my hands are less dry, it doesn't bug me as much. But like certain types of paper seem to bug me mostly. I don't know how to describe it. Otter Dragon, hi Crew Dog, how's it going? Yeah, well, I'm a Dragon Kobold thing, yeah. Unmasking Gober. I wonder if like because I'm at work or I'm doing like work tasks and I'm focused on the work tasks that like I'm masking enough that like the thing doesn't bug me. But as soon as like I'm at home in a comfortable space and I'm able to like unmask or whatever, like that like it hits harder or something like that. Like I'm like more vulnerable to the sensation or to the stimulation or something like that. I don't know. Do any sounds bug me? Sometimes. I know that like it can really bug me to listen to people chew when it's really quiet. If it's louder and I hear people chew or there's like something to drown it out a little, it doesn't bug me. But when people are just like noisy chewing in my ear, like they're just like sitting like, or what really gets me is like if I'm like, I sit down for dinner. Yeah, at work you lock in, no more ADHD. Well, I'm also medicated at work, so that helps. But I sit down for dinner and like my husband starts eating while I'm still putting like something on TV to watch, and he starts chewing. It will progressively make me more and more irritated. I get so irrationally mad about it. I'm just like, stop eating until I'm done. I can focus on my food. It's really weird. Yeah, I could see that, Indy. I could see that. Yeah, certain sounds definitely. There's definitely. I will say, like, there's certain, like fans being on really bugs me. Like, if there's just a fan that's going, like, whirr, or whatever, and it's, like, it's just there, and it just annoys, it's just always there. It bugs the hell out of me. I'm like, YouTube channels for common aggravating noises. Maybe, there probably is, but, like, I don't know that I would want to go to. That sucks. Oh, I could see that too, Tyra, yeah. We're like just going through everybody's autistic triggers. Do I spend more time looking for a video to watch than actually eating? Well, usually I watch TV shows. We don't really watch YouTube that much. I don't really watch YouTube a lot, except for like a certain YouTubers. I watch a little bit of Twitch when I'm like playing video games or whatever. If I'm like playing Magic the Gathering Arena, or if I'm like playing Satisfactory in my free time, I'll have like a Twitch stream up or whatever. But like when we're watching TV, we watch TV. Like we're watching House of the Dragons. We need to catch up on the finale for that. We're watching Big Brother right now. The Bachelorette. We watch a lot of like drama too. We watch a lot of stuff on like Apple TV, but there's like not a lot on TV because it's the summer. So, But I will say, watching Twitch while playing Satisfactory couldn't be me. Yeah, for sure. I'll get to your question. You asked me what's my biggest phobia. I will answer that. I have an answer for that. I have 2 of them that are pretty good. Good Cade, welcome to the Clam Club. Thanks for coming on by. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. But like, I will say, one of the things that I hate is like when it's date night and we don't have like TV to watch during date night. We often watch movies, and trying to find a movie to watch is like genuinely the worst experience of all time. I have this like common rant of like things that I'm starting to realize that just piss me off. And one of them is that like every technology is made by computer nerds that don't know how normal people think. It drives me crazy, dude. Hang on, let me get some water. Like every technology is just made by some turbo computer nerd that just thinks everything should be like the way that computer nerds think. And then I'm like, why did you not make this in like a user-friendly way? It doesn't make any damn sense. Let me get you your lickies here. Hang on. Get over here. Get over here. Let me get back in here. There we go. Yeah, Jonas. You have something of a unique one. I hate the dead bugs. Yeah, that could bother me a lot, but yeah. That's why you need dumb people in the team. Unironically, yes. Like, I feel like every UI design or user experience design needs one person on the team that's like, you need a grandma, and you need like a mom, and you need like a dumbass himbo or a thembo. Like, you just need idiots on the team that can like play with your thing and try to break it. It's crazy that people don't do that. People getting steamed from the stream lickies. They're getting so excited. But like, I just feel like, because I was playing Satisfactory and I went and found like a spreadsheet calculator for it, because I was like, I'm trying to be clear, I'm trying to make like a supercomputer factory. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't really want to do all this math by hand, because like it's like 7 levels of making product or whatever. And so I went through the whole thing, and like I start using the spreadsheet, but I'm like, brother, where do you enter how many supercomputers you want to make? And I'm like looking around everywhere, and it's like nested inside of like a thing inside of a thing, and then you can edit it's just a nonsense interface. And when you're using it, it's intuitive. But when you're entering the space, you're like, what is happening? It's so bad. Nako, you want the beans? Hang on, I gotta get the beans here. Beans. Beans. Pet the camera. Hi, Nako. How's it going? It's always good to have somebody who will try to play with your thing. Yeah, exactly. You always have to have somebody to play with your thing. It's very important. You need to share with your Discord sometime, because your ridiculous flowchart you made was like, you wanted to make nuclear pasta production chain that was as balanced as possible. Yeah, so that's what the calculator does. But like, as you do the calculators, you realize that you have like all these different recipes that like interchange and make things optimal or whatever, or the most efficient. And it just becomes like an absolute nightmare. It's awful. It's crazy. Biggest phobia is definitely small boats. Dude, my biggest phobia, I don't have stupid phobias, I feel like. Oh, hydration break? I could do that. 1 second. Yo, Dragon Above, hi! I'll let Noodles say your thing first.
Ayo, Sync, welcome back to the virtual realm. Sync.
I have so many slugs, though. Like, I have, like, literally 100 slugs that I'm just not using right now. I could see needing a lot of them for, like, a large factory, but a lot of times you just overclock, like, the like, miners, and then you just deal with the extra or whatever. You like have like an extra constructor, and you're like, whatever, it's fine, it doesn't matter. But yeah, Dragon Above, thank you for the 22 months in the Clam Club VIP Lounge. Welcome back to the Clam Club VIP Lounge, where the Wi-Fi is always clean. Thank you so much. Thank you. But yeah, as far as phobias go, I don't really have like dumb ones. I think I've said this before. I'm not scared of heights. I'm scared of falling. So if I'm like like I don't have like any sort of like safety harness or something like that. Yeah, I was talking about a video game. If I don't have like a safety harness, or like I'm like in a building or on a roof or something like that, there's not like a barrier that's like higher than my center of weight or whatever. Like if there's like a railing, but it's like down near my hips, that freaks me out because somebody could just like come up and shove you and you would just like fall 40 stories and die or whatever. That freaks me out. But if you put me in like a climbing harness or something like that, and like I'm tied to a rope, or I have a parachute, or like a bungee cord or something like that, I'm good. Like I trust the equipment. I'm not scared. I become totally fearless. I can climb. It doesn't bother me. I do bouldering. I've done top rope. None of that bothers me. But yeah, or an echo. That's the thing. That's the other one I was gonna say, is that I'm not afraid of the dark per se. I'm afraid of the unknown. So I'm afraid of like what I don't know. Cause like if it's nighttime and my husband isn't downstairs and like I don't know what's downstairs, see-through floors don't bother me most of the time because like I'm surrounded by concrete, so it's fine. But like if I don't know what's down there, like that freaks me out, and then my brain like comes up with like and fills up with the empty space and starts going like, oh, well, what if there's like, you know, aliens down there? I got real scared of aliens as a kid because of that, because I'm like, I don't know if there's aliens out there. There could be. I could just get abducted one day, and that freaked me the frick out. So I don't even know that I'm scared of aliens so much as like I'm scared of like the idea of something scaring me. I don't even know how to describe it. Devilish M3, welcome to the Clam Club. Thanks for coming on by. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, I don't think see-through floors really bother me. I think that it could, because if I'm tired enough, the elevators at FWA can really bother me. If like I go up to like the 50th floor and those elevators just zip right up because like they're just in glass encasing, and there's not really like a good railing or anything like to like describe that the glass is there. So if the glass is really clean and the elevators go really fast, the FWA hotels really freaks the hell out of me, that those elevators, because my brain just sees it as like an empty hole that I could just fall through. Super interested in aliens as a kid, just watched so many things. Yeah, so I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm fascinated with exobiology in general. I've talked about this a lot. I am fascinated by like the idea of life on other planets, outside of Earth. As a biologist, I find that really fascinating as a topic. And part of that stemmed from me being so interested in aliens. But for some reason, I gained like an obsession with them as a kid. I was obsessed with like the concept of like gray aliens and all this stuff. I mean, I love sci-fi. It's like my favorite genre of movie or books or any of that kind of stuff. But like weirdly, like if I for a long time, and I've gotten better about this and I don't know why, if I saw a picture, even just a photo of like a gray alien or whatever you're gonna call it, it would ruin my day. I would be so freaked out that like I would be like uncomfortable for like a day. I've gotten over that. It doesn't bug me so much as seen when I play like Voices of the Void. It still scares me. It still scares me, but it doesn't. It's not the existential fear I had anymore. I think partly because I've sort of realized that like there's like a 0% chance that like aliens actually exist. So. Yeah, I know the Sears Tower has a spot like that for sure. The elevators randomly stop working and going down scares you. That doesn't really scare me. I mean, it's like whatever. Oh, like just like the elevator falling or whatever. I don't know. Large alien world building project. Let me know if you're interested in the art. I mean, I don't think it would bother me. It's still, the gray aliens still scare me a lot, but like it's not intolerable anymore. I think I've just like gotten over it. I was a huge Animorphs kid. I loved Animorphs. I read the hell out of Animorphs. I love Toby. Toby's the best. He's so cute. Ever watch that movie Communion? So I think that's the movie that scared the Christ out of me when I was a kid. I don't remember what it was, but I remember I think that's the one that scared the Christ out of me. Is it the one? That's not the one with the eye thing, right? No, or that's the one with a really freaky alien abduction scene. Freaks the hell out of me. I didn't know there was an Animorphs video game. There's a 100% chance that other intelligent life is in the universe. I don't think it's 100%. I think that there is a high chance that life exists somewhere in the universe, probably. But I think that there is a non-0% chance that we are alone in our galaxy. I've talked about that on stream before. I think I've talked about this before. I could talk about it again in a second. Free V adoption scene in Communion, but I think it was Fire in the Sky. That's the one that messed me up. Yeah, I talked about this when I was a kid. I used to sneak out of bed at night, and then I would go into the living room, and then my parents' like couch was like here, and then the TV was over there, and then like you'd come out the hallway, and I would sneak out, and I would hide behind the couch, and I would watch the movies that they watch, and I'd sneak back and go to bed. I got caught all the time, but like, you know, one time they were watching Fire in the Sky, scared the shit out of me. It was ridiculous. It was so stupid. And then I think that's where I started getting like really scared. And then like I started reading all these books about unsolved mysteries and paranormal stuff, and all that stuff scared the hell out of me, but I couldn't stop reading it, and I would just freak myself out. I was convinced I was going to get like abducted by aliens or ghosts were going to haunt me and all this stuff. It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's a 100% chance there's intelligent life beside humans. It depends what you mean by intelligent. If you mean intelligent tool using spacefaring aliens, I think there's a pretty low chance that any of them exist in our local galaxy. And I also think that life probably exists, like even in our solar system, probably like on Enceladus or even Mars or whatever. But I don't think it'll be like single cellular life that we couldn't qualify as like intelligent or anything like that. But I've always said that I think that like we will find life everywhere, like pretty much anywhere that there's excess energy in the system, for a lot of different reasons. One of which, a lot of different reasons, most of which I couldn't explain in a single stream because it's like a whole way of thinking and a scientific like theory that is like a textbook worth of information. But I also think that like it's such a low % chance that there's actually tool using intelligent life out there. And I think that there's like literally a 0% chance that we have ever been visited by another species. Ever. So, yeah. Dude, I was scared of ghosts too. I was scared of ghosts and devils and aliens and vampires and the Loch Ness Monster and Sasquatch and like anything you can imagine that was paranormal. I'm like, that shit scares the shit out of me. To this day, the theme song of Unsolved Mysteries, if I hear this theme song of Unsolved Mysteries, I get like uncomfortably afraid. Like I am like inside my gut afraid of that sound of Unsolved Mysteries. It just freaks the shit out of me. I don't know why. Have you never been visited by intelligent animals? Have you ever been visited by like an animal that can just like make a car? You're biased. You love my Kobold avatar. Have you seen my horns? Hang on. Come here. Chat, come here really quick. Look at my cool horns. Look at these cool bad boys. Are these not the coolest horns? I love these horns. And I got them on my fingers too. These little like cracked black ice things. They're so cool. A little far away there. We can do this. We can recenter. There we go. Really cool. Yeah, I like them a lot. How about the edit of UM where the host asks you 20 questions? I don't know if there's an edit of that. I don't think I've ever seen it, but yeah. You wouldn't let a squirrel download a car? I definitely wouldn't let a raccoon do it. I don't think you could be trusted with a car, buddy. Okay, my tummy tracker, please chill out. Please track properly. So what is the 20 questions versions of Unsolved Mystery? They're a bracelet thing? These are my horn rings. They're for like my my dragon's like siblings. There's like a sister and a brother. You want to lick them? I think you might get frozen. Like your tongue's going to stick to them or whatever. If we define intelligence by being able to use tools, then yes, there are no intelligent animals. There are intelligent animals on Earth. If you mean complex tools, then no. Well, yeah, I mean, like, I think crows are smart and octopi are smart, and I think whales and dolphins are smart.
Oh, Leon OK17. Judging from my interactions in this chaotic vortex of virtual verisimilitude, I dare say there's plenty intelligent life on the other side of your computer screen. As for Beyond Earth, my bay, it's all free-range space ferrets. Who knows? Grins and
free range
wiggles
space
eyebrows
ferrets.
worth an investigation.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that, like, you know, they use simple tools, and that's fine. But I think that, like, if we look around if we find a planet that's as rich with biodiversity as Earth is, we will probably see similar things where we have animals that are, like, using tools or, like, using their environment to, like, the best of whatever. But are there going to be animals that, like, make buildings and vehicles and want to explore? Because that's the other thing, is, like, even if we found another species of animal that did make, like, complex tools, they would also want to have to enter space, right? They would have to, like, leave their planet or have some desire to do that. We do for some reason, but, like, that doesn't mean that another species would. So that means that they may never have the drive to do that, and they may never actually accomplish that or make the thing, right? Like, this is why I'm not scared of aliens anymore, is because I don't think they exist. Like, right? And even if they do exist, I don't think that they're traveling through space. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Because, like, why be afraid of something that literally can't exist, or, like, has, like, such a low % chance of existing? It's like being afraid of winning the lottery. It's like, you know what I mean? You should read Forge of God. Is that, like, a fictional novel? Or is that one of, like, Rick's novels or something? I think there's other species out there, but you don't know they exist because it takes so damn long for light to come to our planet. But, like, cosmically speaking, it doesn't, right? Like, yeah, we've only been observing for, like, 50 years or whatever. But, like, cosmically speaking, and here's my best evidence towards, like, it not being true, right? If you say, like, oh, well, you know, it takes so long for light to reach our planet. It's like, you know, it takes, like, 100 years or whatever for this light from, like, our nearby star to reach our planet. That's true. That is true. But if we assume that, you know, Occam's razor is true and the simplest answer is the truth, then, like, you would assume that if time was actually a problem, if the length of time was a problem, well, then, you know, large megafauna on Earth have existed for, like, 500 million years or 1 billion years, right? It is, like, the furthest stars in our galaxy are less than 1 billion light years away. So, like, you know, if that were true, then we would have seen another civilization exist on Earth already. But the fact that we haven't seen another civilization on Earth already, or some other species try to do it until we did, like, 20,000 years ago, which, by the way, is, like, literally less than a blink of an eye in cosmic terms, suggests that it is extremely, extremely rare that that's such a thing that can happen. Does that make sense? Like, we are very, 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 very much more advanced than anything else that our planet has ever produced in, like, 1 billion years or 7 billion years or whatever, however long Earth has been around, right? And if that's true, and there's been, like, you know, billions of species of different animals on Earth, and only one ever built a car, right? Well, that suggests that it takes billions and billions of different species of animals to produce one species that can make a car, right? And yeah, it's a little bit about timing, it's about luck, but that's the thing, is, like, on a cosmic scale, for billions and billions of years, if that was true and it was common, it would have happened multiple times already. And the fact that we haven't seen evidence of other species in our solar system or in our galaxy suggests that it's probably not happening, because even if, like, say, for example, we came to exist, like, 5,000 years ago, like, earlier, even, like, just, like, if we were, like, the year 7,500 was here, and it was today. If you gave humans 5,000 more years to progress science, we would be in a place that would be unrecognizable as a species compared to today, right? It would be unrecognizable. We would probably have colonized. If all we did was built self-replicating robots that went into space and colonized other planets, we would have already colonized half the galaxy in 5,000 years. We could literally almost do that today, but that doesn't exist, right? No one else has done that. So that suggests that they don't exist, or the motivation to do that doesn't exist, or it's impossible, right? You know what I mean? Like, you could literally send little robots to every solar system in the entire galaxy, and it would take you, I don't know, 10, 15,000 years or something like that.
Techo dab.
And it's been 7 billion years or whatever since the planet existed, and we've produced one species that can make a car. I'll be honest, I just think it's really, really difficult to end up having a species that can make a car. Like, that's a thing. 4.6 billion. Tech Otter, thank you for the tier 3 for 6 months. Welcome back to the Clam Club VIP Lounge, the super VIP lounge where the Wi-Fi is always clean. Thank you, Tech. I really appreciate that. What if a dinosaur civilization is hiding on the moon? You know, that's a great point. Maybe there's lizard people holding the government hostage. You never know. Maybe they're being extremely quiet. Ah, so I see you've also read The Dark Forest. That is a terrifying idea that I do think about, which is part of my whole fear. My fear about the unknown. That does scare me. Of all the things that scare me, that scares me the most. You like my tail? I like my paintbrush tail a lot. If they crash into Voyager 2, then I'll know. Then we'll know. Then we'll know for sure. You know what I mean? Yeah, I like my tail. Like, a lot. You want to see in a sci-fi is future humans crashing into a very old satellite and rediscovering humans? That would be really interesting. Yeah, I think that's a funny idea. Like, them just, like, going and being like, oh, my God, what were the people in 1950 thinking? That is a wild thing to think about. But the concept that, like, hang on, the concept that, like, they've just been there, like we live in a dark forest does scare the shit out of me. Forge of the Earth is about Earth encountering aliens who want to extinguish every other civilization that arises other than them, which is kind of a standard plot now, but the author does it a hard sci-fi approach. Can you link me that? That sounds really good. That sounds really fantastic. Telling us our fear and all of chat is trying to convince me that it's real. I mean, like, you could not convince me that little gray men exist. Like, the only thing that I think would convince me that little gray men exist is, like, literally observing them myself. I've seen some weird stuff in the sky, and for a while there I was convinced that it probably was, like, UFOs or whatever, but now I'm just like, I don't know, there's stuff that happens up there that I don't really understand because I'm not an physicist. Some people think we're already seeing it with the Boots Void. So you're suggesting that the Boots Void is like a area of the solar system or the galaxy that, like, there's, like, it shouldn't be there, but it, like, is, and, like, maybe it's, like, all Dyson sphered up? Is that the idea? UAPs, they say now? Sure, yeah. You know what I mean? NASA at one point was going to make a real warp drive. Well, there's always people working on theories of that. In fact, they've, I believe there is a paper about successfully creating a warp field recently, but, like, it's like the size of an atom. So it's kind of useless. And what if we find a dead body? Would not convince me. You would have to prove to me that it has no relation to anything on Earth. You would have to give me tissue samples that I could run on a sequencer and see the results of, or I would have to see it from, like, a trusted source that I could see. I would want to see that they either did not have DNA or that DNA did not align with any known species on Earth. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything new about it. It's been a while since I heard anything about any of the EM or, like, like the Alcubierre drive. But I had heard at one point that was the case. Yeah, the universe could be a torus. That's true. Dean!
One more month and I unlock the meaning of life, the universe, and everything.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm going to turn my mic down just a touch here so I'm not capping it too hard. But Dean, thank you for the 41 freaking months in the Clam Club VIP Lounge. Welcome back to the Clam Club VIP Lounge where the Wi-Fi is always clean. That time people got enough signatures to make Obama give an official response on building a Death Star. But is that the idea? Is that the idea of like the Buotes? That, like, it's like all like an alien civilization that they're like a K2 civilization that has, like, absorbed all the energy of, like, different solar systems. Is that the idea? It is Kobold time. Hi. The void is an area in space where there's only 62 visible galaxies instead of they expect 2,000. Oh, I thought it was like an area of the Milky Way, but it's like an area of, like, space, like, where there's, like, less galaxies than we expect. What about Kobold time? But we are Kobold. Hi. Type 3 sieve that has Dyson sphere trillions of stars. Oh, it's the area of the universe. Is it? Okay, yeah. I thought it was part of the galaxy. Yeah, I know it's the concept of the Great Filter. That's kind of, it's one of my favorite topics, actually, that I think about a lot. When I original Kobold, did I type Kobold? I typed Kobold. It says Kobold. Too expensive that we should focus on peace, not a giant mega laser. Yeah. If we as a civilization are past the filter, then we are the lucky ones. Okay, here's my perspective on it. And if you want, I had a whole stream about this once. And we're kind of getting into it again. What about Kobold? I don't know what a Kobold is. You tell me. I don't know what it is. But like there was this, so my perspective on the filter is that if there's a filter, it's, and I don't know that I believe that there's a filter. I think that if there's a filter, it's just that the probability of making like a tool using spacefaring, curious civilization that lasts long enough to explore space is like so small of a chance that like it just only pops up like once or twice a galaxy at most on average. Echo,
Oh, look, a
hi.
kobold. Haven't seen this one in a while.
Yeah.
Miss you adorable being.
Aw.
No matter what form you take.
Welcome back to the Clam Club VIP Lounge. Thank you for the 35 months. The Clam Club VIP Lounge. The Wi-Fi is always clean. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Since you're a biologist, I really want your take on your aliens. Sure. Yeah, I'd love that. But yeah, I just don't think that it's common enough. Like, I think my perspective, from my perspective, life exists everywhere, but like making life like a human is very difficult and very uncommon. I think that although alien life has not visited here, we have probably received alien messages. I don't know. You can DM me whatever. That's fine, Indy. You don't think that they were directed at us? If there were alien messages that were transmitted through space, the thing is that I don't think you'd be able to perceive them. It's not like I don't think that you would. They would either be gravity waves. We do the same thing because we are still using radio technology. But that's suggesting that radio technology is the peak of communication, which isn't necessarily true. If there are aliens watching this stream, hi aliens, come prove that you exist. Maybe don't abduct me or whatever, but maybe just like, you know, go talk to Kamala Harris or something. I don't know. That does not suggest that at all. Well, like, okay, you are suggesting that EM, electromagnetic communications, is like how you would communicate, or how you would communicate, or alternatively, that whatever communications that network that somebody would use other times would probably have some sort of way of like intercepting the message if it wasn't peer-to-peer. But my perspective is that I think you can probably send communications using quantum entanglement, and like in that case, it would be impossible to intercept the communication. You know what I mean? And if a civilization is even like, if that's possible, and it's like even like something that we could do now, then that means that the entire history of using radio communications for any sort of like telecommunications network is like a lifespan of about 100 years, right? Like 100, 150 years. And that's nothing, right? Like a civilization could like, you know what I mean? Like it's to catch somebody, that's like a needle in a haystack situation. You can't relay information through quantum entanglement. You think that we can't, or some similar technology doesn't exist. You think that. We don't know that. We think, right? We think a lot of things, right? We don't know that we can't communicate through subspace, or that subspace exists, or whatever. We don't know any of those things. Imagine a candidate running for the president of the United States actually communicated by aliens. Yeah, no, they would sound crazy. It's like, oh, aliens visited me last night and told me this, that, and the other thing. It's like, oh, all right, they're a crazy person. Hey, you listen to me. Did you send me the YIP file? Did you send it on the Discord? I think so. I might have seen it. I haven't added it yet. Quantum theory hurts your brain so bad. I've never done the math on it, but like quantum theory itself doesn't bother me. You can't do it at speeds faster than light. Well, we think you can't do that, but if you can open a wormhole to any point in space, then you could, in theory, fold space and send a message through, right? In theory. And we know that we can fold space. That is a thing that you can do, right? You tried to DM it, but your settings wouldn't let me. But yeah, I think it's on the media share, right? Try to remind me. I could put it the yips in here. You'll open my wormhole, yeah, to outer space. Another resolution of the Fermi paradox is that we're early. Yeah, I think that might be true too, but I think it's unlikely just because, like, it's like not the simplest solution. I think it's possible. I think it's a cool way, but yeah. The DB theory being entertained yet? What do you mean the minus DB theory? What is that? I don't know what that is. Wormholes require negative energy density, aka negative mass. But like, we don't know that that's not possible. I guess that's like my point with all this is that like, I think a lot of people are making assumptions that like certain things are the way that you. Why is my tummy tracker being such a butt? That we're like, oh yeah, the universe works this specific way, but like we're making assumptions based off our current understanding of physics. We don't know any of this stuff, right? Like, yeah, and that's the thing. Negative mass exists. Antimatter exists, right? Antiprotons and anti-electrons or whatever. I mean, we don't know any of this stuff. You know, 100 years ago, there was a guy from Harvard that said like, oh yeah, don't send your kids to school for physics. We've already solved physics. There's nothing left to learn. And now we don't know. We don't even know if we know how the universe works. We don't even know anything. You know what I mean? So it's just wild to suggest that we just know any of this stuff. I don't know. I just don't think that's like a thing that we can think about.
Pause, then starts rolling in laughter or Ineko. If I were an alien, victoriously navigating the celestial realms. Know this.
Okay,
I'd shout
tummy
at a
tracker?
galaxy with exquisite
Listen to
origami constellations, you included. Although, for now, a certain possum embodies witty shenanigans merely on Earth.
Negative mass a couple days ago was fascinated. Yeah, like I think we did transfer stuff through quantum entanglement, but I think, like they said, you can do it, but it's not at non-relativistic speeds. So like it still transmits at. Do you know what's crazy? I was watching a video about this. I don't know if this is true because I'm not a physicist. You can tell me if this is true or not. Kate, tracker, I'm gonna need you to like work with me for like 5 seconds, please. None of my these guys aren't blocked or something. Oh, there's like a lot of light in here. Maybe that's the problem. There was this crazy video I watched on Science where they were saying the thing that we can't prove and we can never prove, like maybe it's possible, but like the thing we don't actually know that the speed of light works the same in both directions. We know that it works in our direction. Right? We know that like it takes a certain amount of time for light to get to us, but we don't know whether or not it's instantaneous in one direction or it's the same, right? Like we can measure how long it takes for us to send light to the moon and back, but we don't know if it's traveling at a different speed there and back because we can't communicate differently at that speed. Right? So for all we know, the speed of light is different in a different direction, which is crazy. But we can never prove it. It's impossible. You can't prove it. Like the simple solution is that it does. And we know that the speed of light is different through different solutions, by the way. Like the speed of light through water is different than the speed of light in the vacuum. Light gets lazy on the return trip. Those photons are like, nah, bro. Yeah, like they're instantaneously there and then they're back again. Why would it move differently, though? It's just a thing. It's a thing that the math says that it works. Like nega Earth that's always on the other side of the sun from us. Exactly. Isn't C relative to the observer? I mean, time is non-local. We just awarded like last year, we awarded a Nobel Prize that proved that time didn't exist. So, you know... Well, C is relative, to, but C is in a vacuum, so maybe not. I guess it depends on the solution that you're in. But yeah, if you're saying C is in a vacuum, then yeah. Yeah. But I think that's wild to think about. It's like that time is non-local. We proved that like local time doesn't exist or something. Where it's like actually time doesn't exist and like the way that time works in different places is not true. And so like, oh no, it wasn't time is the universe is not real locally or something like that. It's like the universe doesn't exist anymore or something like that. I don't remember what it was. Something like that. The universe is non-locally not real or something like that. It's fucking weird. True, Jonas. If time doesn't exist, then procrastination doesn't matter. Exactly. Time made donuts. In the actuality, the thing that increases when you increase velocity is mass, not c. So when you go faster, you gain mass or you lose mass. Don't you become energy the faster you go? Quantum mechanics is a nightmare. It can be. The universe is not non-locally real or something like that, right? I don't remember what it was. Time is changed by gravity, yeah. You gain mass as you accelerate. I don't get it. If time doesn't exist, then growing up isn't real. Time exists. Have you guys ever thought about this? I know we're getting like really like wait, what was it? I thought I saw something there. There's a paper that said like that they were talking about how they had evidence that like, and I don't know how real this was. They had evidence that like our consciousness was linked to quantum states or something like that. Like consciousness is like is an element of quantum something or other. But like, did you guys ever think about like that like time? Oh, tummy tracker. I swear to God, time is like linked to like your consciousness. Like you perceive time in a certain dimension. Like it has an arrow to it only because like we exist within it or something like that. Because that's true. There's nothing in the math that says that time has to go one direction. It's possible that it to always have been faster than the speed of light. Tachyons. Time is different by the pyramids due to their gravitational mass. That is actually literally true. That's kind of crazy. Harvard wait, no. That's part of the Earth. I don't know that that's actually true. I don't know. Can we prove consciousness in other people? I don't know. That's a thing. Like I don't even know you can. Dude, this got really like it's famously pseudoscience. It probably is. I don't know. I don't read a lot of those papers, but. How much time have you thought thinking about time? Like a lot, actually. I think about this stuff like a lot.
Time isn't real, that's why Webster doesn't stream anymore.
Yeah.
Bird time isn't real, just like JFK.
Well, birds aren't real, so, you know. Yeah, we went down a science rabbit hole randomly because somebody asked me about aliens or my fears or whatever. Messed me up. Time is slightly different between your head and your feet. That's true. Your head does move through time at a slightly different rate than your feet because you are slightly further away from the gravitational core of the world. I wonder how much time it is over the course of one human life that your head ages faster than your feet. And like if you just like were taller. I don't know. It's fucking weird when you think about it. It's like 2 seconds over the course of your life. Hell yeah, dude. I'm afraid of aliens? I used to be. And that's where this whole discussion came from, is that like I used to be really scared of like gray aliens because like I was like afraid of like the dark/unknown. And I always thought that there was a possibility that I could get abducted by aliens or whatever. And then I started realizing that was a ridiculous fear because I don't actually believe that aliens actually exist. So that's basically it. Your ears are all, yeah, my horns are aging 2 seconds older. These are so old. That's how spaghettification works. That's like why your feet, as you fall in, just like age really slow. 90 billionths of a second over a 79-year lifetime. Well, I plan to never die because my consciousness is always going to live on. So, oh, did that not growl? It growled, but I'm not hearing it. Oh no! Hang on, I haven't done this. Thank you for the bits, but 1 second. Let me see if I can fix it really quick. I thought it would work. Huh. It did. It's just very low. I didn't hear it at all. You guys might have heard it. I didn't hear it. That was weird. You heard a growl. I did not hear it. I did not react to it. Give me a second. You heard it. Yeah. I thought that it should be here. Is that, yeah, okay. I told you. It sounds good to you, but my monitoring isn't there. Conversation went from aliens to alien transition, speed of light to quantum mechanics to temporal relativity. Yeah, let's go to quantum consciousness now, yeah? Or how to diagnose stream problems. Let me see here. Actions. Where's my Gaby growl at? Gaby growl. Play sound at growling into otter. Ah, okay, that's a little awkward. Okay. There is a way to do this. It's going to be really dumb. I'm going to copy this action and I'm going to paste it. I don't know if this is good. Actually, I think this might sound awful. I'm going to delete this now. Delete sub action. Oh no, I just duplicated it again. Delete. Don't play 2 growls for the price of 1. That won't be necessary. So I have to change you to make a sound. Ride with the 6. You want to dine with 6? Okay, I have too many audio devices, dude. This is too much. NVIDIA Index HMD. Okay. Test. Okay, yeah, I can hear it now. Okay. I'll remember to change that back later. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we're fixed. We're good. You could beat up the ocean if you had to. You guys ever think about quantum consciousness? That's the stuff that stuff's crazy. You just came back. What's going on? I was just fixing some tech issues. My growl wasn't working so hot. We fixed it. We fixed it. Oh my. You guys know about quantum consciousness? Like, it ties into the idea of, like, you can't prove that anybody else's consciousness exists. So, like, because of that, like, you only know that your consciousness exists. And as far as you know, you've never died. You've existed for as long as the world has ever existed, if the world exists, right? And so, like, there's this quantum consciousness thing where it's like, well, everybody doesn't die. You just, when you might die locally in your universe, you just exist in the only universe where you could never die. So, like, no one, you are the only person in the universe that you are the chosen one for your specific universe, and you could only exist in a universe where you could never die because you exist, and therefore, like, you will never die. Quantum immortality, yeah, quantum immortality. Quantum immortality is crazy. Low key, I kind of believe it exists. Low key. It's cope.
No.
I mean, like, low key, it seems like you can't prove it wrong, and that's the thing, is it is a logical fallacy, but, like, you can't prove that it's not true. I haven't died yet, right? Like, but, like, somebody else dying doesn't prove anything, right? So you could never die. It's like a weird thing. It's more a philosophy theory than a scientific theory. Oh, absolutely. It's not science. It's not science at all. I think that if that theory is true even a little bit, that it's not that. It's like, I've always said or thought since I was a kid, consciousness is gay. Oh my straight homies love unconsciousness. How does Puck feel about my immortality? Puck's gonna have to deal. I'll find another husband after. Ah. I'm doing fine. Problem is the other minds. Okay, I've always said, that's what I was saying. As a kid, I always thought as a kid that I'm like, what if like I'm like just a dude playing a video game like in another dimension, or like you know, this is a simulated existence, right? And like I'm just playing a video game because I'm an immortal being, and the only way to experience fun anymore is to like wipe my brain and enter the world as like a new simulation and experience new things, because like that's the only way I can experience fun anymore. And then like every time that you die, you just wake up and you're like in the real world, and you're like, ah yes, I'm an immortal being, very good. Anyways, time to go experience immortality for a little bit, because I've experienced this for a little bit. Now I'm going to go jump back in and experience a different lifetime. You know what I mean? Because if you're an immortal being, then like, what else is there to do? If you're just like bored, you know what I mean? You just enter a simulation and pretend to be another thing. You know what I mean? So you're like self-imposed matrixing, right? That unironically, if you told me that was how the universe actually existed, I'd be like, yeah, that seems pretty viable. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're all playing our own single player and mode. Yeah, that, which does mean, well, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a single player simulation, right? Like there could be like local simulations that like the immortal people are like making, and it's like, oh yeah, the current simulate, you know, it's like a MMO server. Like, oh yeah, we're on like Earth Classic or whatever, like an Earth Classic, like World of Warcraft or whatever, and you choose which server you want to go on, and then you pick like a class and everything like that. You load in, and then you play your game for like 100 years or whatever, and then you die, and then you're like, well, back at it. That was fun. I will say, I don't really understand why I would choose to be a furry and live in a world where like furry TF doesn't exist. That seems kind of crazy, but like, you know, I don't know. I don't get to choose life or whatever. Like, hey, game player, if you're out there, just letting you know, I would really like if you chose for next time that we do this, next go around, let's pick a world with a little bit more furries, yeah? A little bit more like I can be a cool animal. All right? I would love that. I would love that for me. Thanks. I forgot to change the settings before I loaded. No! If furry TF did exist, I'd be super itchy and it would take too long. Okay, but you'd get to be a cool animal. We rolled, yeah, we're on a randomizer. This is an Earth randomizer. One day I'll fall into the pool and that'll be the top clip. I don't think so. I'm not really close to the pool. Maybe you knew that this is where you'd most easily find your friends. Like, that is a thought of mine, right? Is like, I knew that my friends we would load into the world, and like we knew ahead of time that like we would arrange our lives so that we would enter each other's lives at some point, and that we would know that, and then we'd come out of it and be like, oh wow, do you remember this thing that happened and everything like that? Like, maybe you're playing games with your friends and you're a furry but your friends aren't, or whatever, and I don't know. That could be a thing. Maybe the world with cool animal people doesn't have internet. That would be tragic. If I jumped in the pool, would I crash into in real life? I would probably jump onto my beanbag chair, mostly. The queue's too long for the animal server. Yeah, what the hell happened in 2020? They loaded a really shitty mod. Or maybe that was the thrill of this timeline. I don't know. Maybe that's the whole point, is that we live in a timeline that's like interesting, right? Where like stuff is happening. And maybe we needed furries to exist or whatever, because otherwise, like, if there wasn't a furry fandom, like, I wouldn't have ever found my friends. And then, like, part of the story that I'm experiencing is that, like, oh, you have to, like, become a furry, because if you don't become a furry, then you never meet this person. And if you don't meet that person, then this thing doesn't happen. And then, like, you know, there could be a story. Yeah, we live in a timeline is the thing. So I don't know. You know what I mean? You can't prove any of this stuff, but I think it's an interesting concept to, like, think about. I like it a lot. The inflation bug is turned too high. But I don't know, maybe that has to exist. Maybe, like, you know, there's a reason for it. Like, there's a story plot point that you're going to be like, wow, that was so well written because of this thing or whatever. Games are always about saving the world. Like, from our perspective, right? Because we're experiencing that. But what if we're like Q and we're like, we just want to find a world where, like, you're like, you know, it's it could be a tragic ending, you know, and you're like, wow, that was such a good tragic ending or whatever. I don't know. Which is sad for us in our like living state or whatever in this world, but maybe we're all going to wake up in 20 years and we're all going to be like high-fiving about how great of a story we wrote. Player in 2021. Hee, that was fun. Let's play 2020. Oops. You get to become anthro later in life. That would be cool. Yeah, it could be that. It could be that, like, you won't appreciate becoming a furry animal later in your life until you've experienced, like, 60 years of, like, being a human. And then, like, you know, in 30, 40 years from now, they develop, like, you know, major technology that changes, like, our ability to, like, manipulate our own DNA and stuff like that. And it becomes, like, a whole thing. That would be cool. Will I be alive in 20 years? Are any of us going to be alive in 20 years? I have as good a chance as anybody else. Too good to be a kobold? Yep. Not impressed with the game mechanics. There seems to be some pretty broken game mechanics. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Ugh. Man, the graphics in real life suck ass, huh? That's the other thing. What's up with that? Hang on, let me get you in here. Get in here. I gotta lick you. How do you contact game support? That's the fun part. You don't, right? You just don't. Zero color grading in real life. Yeah, and the view distance sucks ass. Where's all my cool sci-fi elements? I'm sick of all these, like, real life gritty story things. I want a sci-fi story. Yeah, the 17 to 18 year tutorial that teaches you nothing about how to do anything in life kind of sucks. I don't like that part. That part sucks. Won't be alive in 20 years, but probably a few billions of years. That would be interesting if, like, they brought you back in a few billion of years. You're saying you won't be alive in 20 years, but, like, they're gonna take you, they're gonna, like, upload your consciousness and bring you back to life for a few billions of years. I actually think that there's a good chance that everybody that's alive right now that's, like, under 50 is probably, like, immortal. Skip the tutorial? Dude, being a kid is half the fun. I'm a big fan of the 18-year tutorial where I get to be, like, 5 to 8 years old and literally know nothing about the world except that, like, video games fucking rule. Can we go back to that? I want to go back to that part. That's the best part. That's the best part. Not a gay furry. Welcome to the Clam Club. Yeah, Clam Club. Thanks for swinging on by. Thank you for the follow. All you learned at 18 years was how to JO. I mean, like, you learned other stuff. I don't know. You don't want to be immortal? I kind of do. I don't know. But I feel like being immortal in the sense that you can, like, come back and, like, do other ways and, like, just do other stuff. Like, you know, living in a world where you just live in a simulation and you could just drop yourself into and just keep living new lives. I think that's fine. You learn to type. Yeah, you learn stuff. Quantum resurrection. Not exactly. What do you mean then, Jake? I don't know what you mean. Yeah, imagine being stuck in the tutorial forever. Am I in STEM? Yeah, I am. I'm a biochemist. Well, I mean, I'm interviewing back into the field. But yeah, I am a published scientist in the biochemistry field. You'll have to be an otter forever? Maybe not forever. I would try other species. If I could try a bunch of different species, that would be sick. What's my next life after being a VRChat STEM dragon? Being a real life dragon that knows nothing except, like, you know, eat, sleep. That'd be sick. Suppose the world goes on indefinitely and then the constituent parts of myself will likely recombine into another consciousness. But would you be aware of that consciousness? Yeah, being published is pretty sick. I published my first paper last year, I think, or the year before. I don't remember when it was. But I can't really tell you what it is or else you guys, like, could find who I am and start doxing me, but yeah. No, you wouldn't. That wasn't the question. But, like, I think that my consciousness will probably exist for, like, ever, maybe. I think there's a chance. The furry hater watching the entire industry fall. Dude, the IT industry is fucked. That is so stupid. You're going to leave a trap for your next consciousness. You're going to be like, I'm going to make some really weird memories that you're going to remember. And then there's going to be some problems. It's going to be a real pain in the ass. What if we're all aspects of the game consciousness interacting non-linearly? So you're saying, like, what if we're all part of the simulation and, like, we're, like, interacting, but, like, it's, like, you know, it's sort of knowing itself somehow? Couple flashes of memory or dreams. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's how, yeah, it's like how past life stuff works, if you think it works that way. I'm one of Elon Musk's disowned queer children. Brother, I wish. Be fucking rich. My ass is not rich. I've been an NPC still. I'm a cashier. I don't think there's any, I don't know. I think it's a cool idea, but yeah. It's all masturbation. That would mean that. That would mean it. If it's like live stream stuff, that means like every time you play with someone else, it's all masturbation. If you're disowned, you wouldn't be rich. Yeah, but presumably, like, before Daddy dumped me, I would actually have, like, bought a house or whatever, and he couldn't take it back or whatever. Doesn't that guy have, like, 40 kids? That's crazy. But I don't know. I think there's, like, a non-zero chance that, like... Because, like, I mean, being in the biology science field... The thing about that is that, like, I am aware a little bit more about, like, where the field is and what research looks like. And I'll be honest, I think that there's, like, a non-zero chance that, like, the next 10 years of, like, biomedical sciences are going to fix so many of the disorders and diseases that kill people at a high rate. 40 kids raise 0. Yeah, hell of a KD. Because, like, I think that there's a good chance that we're going to, like, solve a lot of things that, like, are high, like... mortality rates for people. Like, have you guys heard about the vaccine that we're starting to give to cats that are taking cat lifespans and making it like from 15 years all the way up to like 30 years expected lifespan? Like, we're talking about taking cats and it's like, yeah, you're gonna have that cat for 30 years. In 30 years they'll get FDA approval. You don't need FDA approval for cats. Yeah. And what it does is, like, it's essentially taking, like, it's a vaccine that, like, makes it so that the cat is, like, able to, like, regulate its, I think it's a kidney thing. Your cat bit your toe as you said that? I think it's like a kidney thing. But basically what it's doing is it's making it so that, like, the cat is more... I just got scared by my own tail. That was very stupid. I saw my tail moving back there and I thought it was a real thing and I was too immersed in VR and I thought it was a real thing. That must be why people chase their tail. Anyway. So apparently what it is that they found that this vaccine, actual cat moment, this vaccine, which is like an mRNA vaccine, which they're working on for humans, targets the ability of the cat's immune system to, like, resist certain things that, like, would normally let the cat die earlier in their lifespan, because that's what they usually die of when they're at that age. But because, like, they have this vaccine, it, like, prevents them from dying because they don't die from that disease anymore, because it's like their body's able to self-regulate it now through their immune system by targeting certain types of cells. And because of that, they live much, much longer, like 2x. And the same thing is sort of happening in human biology, because we're starting to work on, like, cancer vaccines, liver disease vaccines, all these sorts of different types of vaccines that will prevent things. And one of the leading killers of old age is actually, like, bad, like, cancer and different things like that, like cancer and heart disease, right? And if we can have a vaccine that sort of allows our body to target, like, cells that are aged and regenerate those cells better, or to target cancer cells that normally we would not be able to target before, and we'd be able to vaccinate against ourselves against those diseases, inherently we would live a lot longer. Something that my professors used to say is that, like, if you solve cancer, you've solved aging, because a lot of the reason why cancer kills is because like cancer happens because our cells' DNA degrades and then our body doesn't figure out a way to fight the cells or take them apart. But if we can teach our body to do that, then all of a sudden you're not dying of cancer anymore, which is kind of the whole thing. So it'll come too late for any of us, honestly. Not really. I don't think it would be expensive. Like, put it this way. How much does a COVID shot cost? We'd probably live a lot longer if so many people weren't stressing about unfulfilling work. That's probably true too. Stress is definitely a killer. But like, COVID vaccines are not expensive. They're like $100, right? Like at most, right? Yeah, you don't really die of old age. You die of your body being unable to like fight the things that it used to fight it. Like, you know what I mean? Your immune system going down, or like things, your body failing to like actually target aging and stuff like that. But other animals live essentially forever. Sharks don't get cancer, like, and trees live for like ever, basically, right? And they don't have senescence, right? They don't have built-in dying. So like, that's the thing, is that like the only reason that dying is good for like biological or whatever is for like genetic biodiversity. But if we don't care about genetic biodiversity because we can literally just change our own DNA because we know we have control of it, so like it doesn't really matter. So curing aging is like a real thing. But like getting a vaccine that like prevents you from getting like kidney cancer or whatever, and then now you live another 30 years. The thing to remember is that like if it's like, oh, I can go to the doctor and get this vaccine, which I could just print the mRNA of and throw it into a vaccine, which is like, let me tell you, very, very simple technology. The COVID pandemic, the good that came out of it is it accelerated a technology that makes vaccines very cheap to produce. And because of that, we can target all these diseases that like aren't things like that. And it's looking like one of the things that we could do is like cure cancer with that and stuff like that. So it's like when you think about it that way, it's like if you already are going to live to like 80 and then die of like cancer or whatever, but now you no longer die to cancer, well, now you've added 10 or 15 years on, or 20 or whatever. But that 20 years now gives science another 20 years to come up with more science, right? And now you are 20 years later and you've like prevented all these other diseases. So now you live like another 50 years, and now you're 150 years, which is like, you know, like 100 and something years from now, you know, you've added 100 years to your lifespan. 100 years of medical technology. Do you know what they were doing for medical technology 100 years ago? They basically thought leeches were good for you. It's crazy. Like, yeah, we're basically at longevity escape velocity. That's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. Is that it comes out of nowhere. It's so sudden. This body starts losing cells faster than it can make them around 25. But like, we can fix that. That's like literally something you could reprogram. But we could fix bodies. That's what I'm saying. Leeches are good for you when they are used properly. In some cases, maybe. But I don't know. I think that there's like a real life chance that like if you live currently and that like you don't die of getting hit by a bus and being snuffed out instantly, that like you will just live forever. Yeah, the plot reason for COVID was that we needed a huge breakthrough in like vaccines, which, do you know what's crazy about that? Do you know what's actually kind of crazy about that? Is that like, if the COVID pandemic had hit like 200 years ago, for example, we would have had like way more deaths, and it probably would have like substantially wiped out like a significant portion of like the population of Earth if we were in a situation where like global travel was a thing, right? And what's fucked up about that is that like when you think about it that way, and like that COVID happened exactly right now, like that like we had the technology at the perfect time to suddenly develop a bunch of extra biological sciences that in the future will all of a sudden make all of us immortal potentially. Then it's like, it's almost like that is the great filter. Like, imagine that's the filter, right? It's like, oh yeah, you know, you advanced medical science to the point where now like you have basic immortality, and now like that's another filter that you've passed. you know, in the major technological milestone that you've hit. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know, that's what allows you to, like, you know, get to the next phase or whatever, which is interesting. It's an interesting thing to theorize about, right? What about brain cells? Brain cells don't really degrade. That's not really a thing. Your brain is very plastic, actually. You do make new brain cells. If you were told that brain cells don't, like, you don't make new brain cells, that's not true. We could go picking rats back to the bobos. Yeah, exactly. Our Civ had enough research points to spec into research vaccines. Exactly. I think that's interesting. I don't know. I think it's a cool thing that happened. Like, obviously, the pandemic isn't a cool thing that happened, but, like, I think that, like, all these things that... Oh, more lickies? Hang on. Hang on. I got to take a drink of water first. But that's the thing. Some of the biggest, like, technological jumps in human history have happened because of, like, major events, like wars and famine and stuff like that. No. No. Yeah. Bring your camera back. Come back here. Camera center. There we go. Perfect. There we go. No licking you. Listen, I give the people what they pay for. It's the other things that stop things from keeping the brain healthy. Sort of. There's a lot of research towards Alzheimer's and brain cancers and stuff that, like, okay, well, let's do the sniffies first. And that I think, like, I just don't think that, like, the layman understands, like, where biology is at or where medical research is at when it comes to, like, brain cancer or, like, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And I think that there's a lot of, like, research, especially stuff that I've recently done, that's going to unlock a lot of our ability to, like, understand those diseases in ways that we haven't thought about before. I recently published a pretty big paper on that, about, like, certain brain disorders and how we can, like, study them in different ways. But I'm not going to give specifics so you don't dox me, but, like, yeah. But yeah, I know about Carswell, yeah. Hang on, let me get you your sniffies. Hang on, I got to get you close to me again to do sniffies.
SNFF
Smell.
sniff.
Yeah, okay. Listen, get the hell out of here. Hang on, I gotta set up the other camera for Kobold mode. For the other one. What does chat smell like? Really super gay. He thinks we'll reach escape velocity by 2029. I agree, actually. And I tend to be a little bit of an optimist, probably. But I would say conservatively, in 20 years, we should reach longevity escape velocity. And I think that people don't understand why or how yet. Anyway. Wow. But I think if you're a biologist, you'd probably understand a lot better. Sniff, snoof, slorp, sniff. Your father has dementia, so you'd be happy to see that go away. Yeah, we have I don't think people know this. There's a lot of new research. Hi, Evo. There's a lot of new research into, like, Alzheimer's and stuff like that. There's even a shot or a drug that, like, stops Alzheimer's in its tracks. So if you catch Alzheimer's early enough, you can actually make it so that it stops the disease, like, in its tracks. And makes it so it no longer progresses the disease. Like, it won't, like, degrade anymore. You just maintain the existing. We can't reverse it yet. But, like, we are able to stop the degradation of the brain, basically. But, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, Jonas, I mean, I do what I can. I'm happy that I've been able to help the people I can. There's a chance your dad could get better, but I don't want to promise anything, right? Like, yeah. Your grandfather has Alzheimer's and qualified for those drugs that normally cost like $20K a month. I hope for our sake that they do get cheaper. I think it's bullshit that it costs as much as it does. Especially since I'll tell you that, like, it's the research does cost a lot of money. But I think that there should be limits on that. So yeah. But I am glad that we're able to do things like that and make progress. And I really do think that we've reached a point where, like, I think that we could be immortal. And I know people don't necessarily want to be immortal, but, like, there's a real chance that, like, realistic things that I think that could happen in the next 20 years that we probably could solve that will, like, basically we won't be immortal in 10 or 20 years. But I think that we will be reaching the point where we will extend people's lifespans so quickly that, for all intents and purposes, we will be immortal. And by the time that any of us in chat are 100 years old, we will know that we're immortal, essentially. I think in the next 60 years we'll know that. But real things I think that will actually happen, he's getting them from Medicaid so things aren't costing that much. That's really good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. You'd need to be immortal to pay off all your debt. Well, presumably there wouldn't be debt anymore if people are immortal, but yeah. I would love to be biologically immortal. Yeah, me too. Possible way to reverse Alzheimer's? I mean, yes, you might not be the same person anymore, but you could stimulate the brain to, like, grow its cells back again. You might have forgotten some things, right? But, like, you could reverse the brain's damage and have a functional brain again, but you may have forgotten the things that you had, right? You could still fix it, but, like, you know, it's like wiping a sector of your hard drive. You might not get those files back, but you could still be alive, right? Overpopulation problem? Well, presumably, if you could edit genes and live forever, you could probably fix an overpopulation problem too. And by the time that became a problem, we'd have technology to fix that problem, so. Yeah, I think that's true as well, K-Jack. But yeah, things that I think that will actually happen in the next, say, 20 years. Let's say 20 years. I'm going to give myself 2 decades, okay? So let's say 2045, okay? Or even, let's say, turn of the century, like 2050. Baldness no longer exists in men because we've solved baldness. We can just, you take a drug and your hair just comes back and you're good. I think that could happen. Cancer no longer affects humans. We've cured like 99.9% of all cancer by just taking a vaccine, and the rest is treatable. I think that neurodegenerative diseases will be mostly solved. I think that, like, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's will be things of the past. I think that I don't know if it'll be in the next 25 years. I don't know if it'll be by 2050, but I think that by 2100, and I don't know when this will happen, but there will be a transition. I think most, if not all diseases and ailments will be curable. I agree. I think that almost every disease will be curable by 2050. Gain fur, I don't know about that. I don't know if we're going to be at, like, the point where, like, we can actually do that sort of stuff. I think that your common person underestimates just how far science is. I think your average person has an understanding of where science is that's about 20 years delayed from the actual truth of where science is, right? Because you only experience things when they're products that are already out. But you don't know, you don't hear. You don't hear about all the research that we're actually doing, right? You don't hear about all the things that we're developing until they actually reach to your desk. But, like, for example, yeah, what K-Jack said, CRISPR is actually a massive game changer, but it doesn't exist in a regulatory drug until recently. CAR T-cell therapy is a thing. CAR T-cell therapy being, like, we can take people's cells and reprogram them to fight different disorders. Massive change to cancer therapy. Really, really big change. There's a lot of big companies working on that right now. But you could die to car crashes, but also car crashes and that sort of stuff will come down in risk because, like, people won't be driving their own cars, right? Because presumably we have enough, like, technical ability to, like, make cars drive themselves, and then there's less human error, right? Things like that I think are going to change. But I think that people understand science to be about 15 to 20 years behind where it actually is. And I don't think that people understand that, like, what we actually know as biologists is way more than what you are told about or understand in a pop culture sense. There's so much out there that, like, you guys just have no idea. Like, one thing I think that is going to change, I don't know when this will happen, is I think that we will look at doing open body surgery as, like, the same way that we currently look at, like, people using, like, tinctures and leeches to fix disease. No, I'm not calling you dumb. I'm calling you, like, I'm saying that like we don't educate people. We don't tell people. We don't tell people. We have a communication problem between sciences. Science isn't doing a good job communicating to you like about what's actually out there. I think that like within the next couple decades, surgery won't exist anymore. You will not have surgery. I think that we'll do things like you might get like stitches or something like that, but then you'll like have a thing that just stimulates like skin regeneration, and then you'll just like heal up very, very fast. Yeah, I think there's regulation to some extent, yeah. They did a dick transplant? That wouldn't surprise me, yeah. That seems like a pretty decent thing to do. But yeah. But yeah, that's the other thing, is you can't make claims until they're proved, usually. That's usually the case anyway. But I think that like the big thing, and I think this is something that people aren't ready for, surgery is not going to exist anymore. What we're going to do is, instead of surgery, most of the time, I think that we're just going to be able to like either do like things laparoscopically. There's never going to be big surgeries. We're just going to fix things. Like maybe some surgery will exist, but it'll be different. It won't be the same as it is now. It'll be like lasers and stuff like that, and it'll be like robots, and and we won't really do like organ transplants and stuff like that. It's gonna be very, very different. I also think dick transplants are a good idea, but I also think that it would be better if we could just stimulate like growth of like a custom penis for transgender people. So, how are you gonna get your second dong? I mean, if that's what you want. In the era where people can become mortal biologically, there will be an age limit in how long a person's allowed to live. But like, you're thinking too small-minded in that way, right? Like, if there's an era where people can become immortal, first of all, boomers are going to do it first, and then they're just never going to let go, which, yay, fucking assholes. But I think you're thinking about it in a way that doesn't make sense, because like, if you live to 200, that also means that the world's greatest minds are going to live to 200, right? And if you don't think that like the world's greatest minds can come up with a way to like store more people on Earth, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, we already know how to like genetically engineer food to make it like more nutritious. We know how to do that. We could just do it. We've made like super grains. We've made things like gold rice. Yeah, the whole world's population can live in Texas, technically. Like, and then there's things like horizontal farming. We can make custom soil. We can do all this stuff. It's a solvable problem, right? Especially like when you consider like we could just send people to Mars. We could terraform Mars. We could build space platforms. I just don't think that like it's a necessity. I also don't think that having kids is a necessity, but I think it's something that some people could
today?
do.
Also, hi chat, and this is the second time I said this, and you looked at my message and said nothing. Bub's mad, but it's okay. I forgive you. Bub's heart. Bub's heart. Bub's heart.
I see you. Hi. Got the dragon beans. Yeah. You're not putting that as a policy prescription? I mean, I'm not saying that we should all live in Texas, but like I am saying that like, you know, the world can handle more people. We have always been able to build things faster and faster and do things and overcome these things. While world hunger is a thing right now, it's a solvable problem if we let us solve it. The question is whether they want us to let it solve us or whatever. It's like, yeah, the idea of overpopulation of the earth is a little overblown. There's already enough food on earth for like the entire earth to eat twice over or more. So, but there are there's plausible ways to live on other planets. We could live on space platforms. We could just like literally build into the ground itself if we wanted to. Like, we could literally turn the damn earth into a Death Star if we wanted to. Like, we could just be ants. We could just like core the earth out and live into damn earth. These are all things that you're like able to do. And to suggest that like we can't make more like nutritionally dense stuff is like kind of crazy. We could just like make more soil. This is like a thing we can do. We can do any of that stuff. And it's just a matter of like how long it takes. Because I think that people are guilty to some extent of thinking on the time scale that we've always lived at, right? We think in scale of terms of like decades, and we don't think in terms of like centuries, right? Because we don't live centuries. It's like, isn't that a thing in Tolkien novels? There's a whole line about like in Tolkien, I think in Lord of the Rings, where like the elves talk about how like the reason why men are like they are so spontaneous. Wait, to say men, humans are so spontaneous and like irrational in the way that they like behave is because they think in terms of like 40 to 50 years and they don't live long enough to like think in terms of centuries. And then like the elves like have seen like hundreds and hundreds of years and they think about things in different ways, right? There will always be people trying to stand in the way of progress. That's true, but there's always people trying to progress things too, right? Like the world is a different place. And I think a lot of people also just like misunderstand how different the world is to live in now versus like 100 years ago, and how much better your quality of life is like on a day-to-day basis than it was 100 years ago. You know what I mean? Like the amount of food or variety of food you could eat on any given day. You know what I mean? Like the technology you have, the things you can do. You can just fly to another country. That's not something you could do. Like in 1915, you could not just fly to another country. You had to take a damn boat. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like people saying crime's on the upswing when literally crime is not on the upswing. People are told things and they think about things in very short-term ways instead of thinking about like, or realizing that like the data is not the same way. Like people might think, oh, well, people are dying younger or whatever, but that's not really what the data says either. Like, you know what I mean? Forget Texas. We could unironically all live in social VR. Dude, San Junipero is the best Black Mirror episode. God, that episode is so good. I love that. I love that kind of sci-fi. The kind of sci-fi where it's like speculative into like insanely long, like immortal lives. God, it's so good. That is such a good episode. It's so fantastic. One of the best. It has to be like maybe one of the best sci-fi episodes ever written on TV. So good, so good. I gotta watch that again sometime. I should watch that. Get in VR and watch it. Archie, have you ever watched Black Mirror? It's hard to balance the benefits, but it does feel like life is harder now than 30 or 40 years ago. It feels like it, yes, because you're living in it. And like your own perception is always going to be tinted. Like there's things that are definitely harder, but there's things that are better. You know what I mean? There's always going to be some amount of like, you know, life is life, but like, you know what I mean? You've caught like half an episode by accident. We should watch some of that together because I would love to rewatch some of that. It's dark sometimes, but like there's episodes that are like actually really, really fantastic. We should watch it together. Yeah, and most of them are not optimistic. San Junipero is like, you will cry. It's fantastic. It's like one of the most optimistic episodes of all time. It's so good. Yeah, 30 years ago, there were no sync streams. So, you know, life is better now, right? But yeah, I don't know. I think that like, man, I hope I'm sending this to the right VOD. I just realized I'm sending all this to like, I'm pretty sure I am. Index microphone. VRC audio. Spotify capture is not, okay, good. We're not going to the VOD. All right, that was kind of scary. Oh God. But yeah, see you later on, Ty. I'll see you later. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you. But yeah, I think, okay, I know that Wait But Why, like there's like a blog about this and I read a lot of it at the time and they wrote about like a whole thing about Tesla and Elon Musk, which at the time when Elon Musk wasn't such a psychopath, well, he was always probably, but at the time it didn't seem like he was, let's put it that way. But he wrote an article, not Elon Musk, but this blogger wrote an article about like what Elon was trying to accomplish. And he talked about like this whole concept of like living forever and like what it looked like to like live on like the precipice of like a huge technological burst that like is exponential. And one of the things that he really like tried to like talk about is that like we as people think linearly about time and development and progress when that's not true. And that's not how technology works. And it hasn't been how technology has worked ever, right? Technology has sort of always looked sort of linear because when we look back at it for this length of time, it's this big long line that like, it's like, oh, technology is like going like this or whatever. But if you zoom in to any part of that like line, if you extend it for a very long time, it becomes a stretched line, right? But like but at any given time, it is like an exponential curve of like what's happening as far as technology goes, right? But what we're living in is like a part where that exponential curve is like now actually popping off like in a way that like we don't really understand, because technology has become, and we think about it in such a linear way that like it doesn't make sense to us that like the technology might not be linear, or like that the location for critters who are brain off on the night. I mean, my brain's not off, but it will be. I'm just highly medicated because I took my meds too late today. But like they talk about like it's easy for us to think like, wow, like technology really hasn't really changed in the last 20 years or whatever. Like it just feels like the world has been the same for 20 years. But that's literally not true, right? Like 20 years ago, we barely had internet that you could like transmit like a basic game on. The world is so different today than it was 20 years ago, and it's completely different. Like the exponential gets very perceptible once you get to supercomputing. Exactly. Like once you get to the point where like we're developing technology that's like completely new and different, like it changes everything. And people just don't recognize it. Like people, I think, forget that like 20 years ago, we didn't have smartphones. 20 years ago, we didn't have like Apple phones. We didn't have iPhones. We didn't have we barely had like laptop computers. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, we didn't have phone 20 years ago. Yeah, we didn't release Diablo Immortal back then. Exactly. Loam,
they didn't have phones 20 years ago, and that's why Blizzard didn't release Diablo Immortal back then.
Exactly. Loam, thank you for the freaking 20 months, 25 months in the Clam Club VIP Lounge. Welcome back to the Clam Club VIP Lounge where the Wi-Fi is always clean. We lost the 2000s flip phones. Those are coming back to some extent, but like, I think the thing that people don't recognize is that it takes longer than like 15 years to perfect a technology. We think that like the phone is like the perfect technology, right? Like they were never going to change, right? But like for a long time, we thought that like, the freaking dial-up phone was like the perfect technology. Who free? Thank you for the 9 months in the Clam Club VIP Lounge. Welcome back to the Clam Club VIP Lounge where the Wi-Fi is always clean. Yeah, it's the stream, baby. And we didn't have twink dragons by the pool. Exactly. We didn't have any of that stuff. But like, and I think it's easy to get lost in that. Like 15 years ago, we thought that like, dial-up phones, that was the peak of technology, We thought that like, CRT TVs like 20 years ago, that would like, we had these huge CRT TVs. And now you can buy like a freaking 80-inch TV for $1,000, And I don't think people are thinking about that, like how good this technology has gotten, because a lot of this technology, we only invented it 30 years ago. Like all of this technology was invented 30 years ago, 30, 40 years ago. And that's crazy, right? Like, to think about the fact that like all of it didn't exist like 50 years ago when your parents were born and they were growing up. None of this shit existed. There weren't computers. There weren't computers. There weren't cell phones. There weren't internet. There was nothing. None of that existed. And now, we're in 2025 and there's all of those things. And sometimes I think about the fact that like 25 years from now, you know what I mean? If the world changes as much from 2000 to 2025, then 2050 will be unrecognizable. Like, the thing I think about all the time is that, like, there are things in today's world that, like, if you asked anybody in 2020 or the year 2000, oh, what's 2025 going to look like? We would not have guessed it. There are things that it's like we never could have figured that out. Like no one would have guessed certain things, like what the world would look like in 25 years. And so like there would be wild guesses like, oh, we're gonna live on the moon or whatever, which is ridiculous, is stupid, right? But like 2050, it's hard to imagine what that'll actually look like, right? Yeah, they use their hands to use the internet. Hi, Tempo, how's it going? Tempo, I drafted a frog deck and it was a nightmare. Please don't have flying cars. Flying cars are just planes. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Dude, the problem with the frog deck, not to get derailed by Magic the Gathering, the problem with the frog deck is it was just like, there was always something triggering something and you just had to like pay attention to every trigger everywhere. It was a nightmare. It was so bad. You like how your chat has 2 Arcanines? It might be more than that, actually. There might be a few more. We definitely have a few, for sure. The flying car has always been the future. I just don't understand the need for a flying car. Like, why would we want flying cars? It doesn't make any sense. Have I had any chance to try? I don't really buy the pre-mades anymore. AI generated art was recently introduced and now has been grown a lot. Yeah, well, when you think about what AI art looked like a year and a half ago, and now it's like able to what it's able to do now, it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know. Yeah, flying cars are just a distraction. It doesn't make any sense. Lower road maintenance cost, but like the cars, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just not worth it. Like, we're better off just like not being slave to cars. I think that the concept of like the flying cars and like what people are like, oh yeah, let's make flying cars, is like such an obsession with cars, and it's such an America-centric idea. Because I genuinely don't think that if you asked a European if they're like excited about the concept of flying cars, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Why would I need that? I'll just take the train, right? Like, oh, I'll just take the train to France, like, or whatever, right? Like, why would I need a car? It doesn't make sense. Oh, well, you get to be in your own vehicle. Who cares? That doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't love AI art being, I think I've talked about this. I think AI is a tool, but it can't be like the thing that just goes and does the thing. Because it's, I mean, then you get shrimp Jesus. So, yeah. But it doesn't make any sense, right? It's because we're so myopic about our like sight about like, oh, we got to focus so hard on like, you know, freaking car-centric technology and all that stuff. It's just dumb. Yeah, why is that the litmus test? It doesn't make any damn sense. Yeah, AI inevitably leads to shrimp Jesus. Exactly. I think that's the problem with AI art and stuff like that, is that I think AI in general is like a nice tool. I've said this before. Like something like Microsoft Copilot, which of course is like insane, but like people are like, you know what I mean? Having it assist you in writing things is like fine. But like when it learns from itself, it just becomes like a miasma of fucking nothing, and it becomes like the dead internet. So it's like, I don't know, just bad. Train AIs on enough data sets, it just spontaneously generates shrimp Jesus. I wonder if you did that. Like, if you told any AI art bot to like just keep generating things that like it found interesting, how many cycles it would go through if there was like if it learned from itself enough that it would become, if anybody's ever done that, like, is there like an end point that it tends to go towards that's like carcinization? That would be funny. Be interesting. You need a lot of computing power to do it. It's probably like not worth it because you're probably like killing a whole rainforest to do the study, but it'd be interesting, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I don't understand. Don't call Noodles a tool, but he is well, he's not a tool. He's an asshole. That's true. That's fair. That's true. I don't know. But yeah, all that to say, I think that like people will probably be surprised by the future in a lot of ways and maybe disappointed by the future in other ways. But I do low-key feel like people are going to live forever if you don't get hit by a damn bus. Which means we'll have infinite Magic the Gathering sets. Got to get those fusion reactors going. I'm not a material scientist. I could never tell you how close we are to that. Metaphor on corporations and the exploitation of new technology for the sake of well, that's like a problem with capitalism, not necessarily a problem with like science. You want Noodles to write a book, but I know he would end up heavily plagiarizing someone. Here's the thing about like AI generation for like stories and stuff like that, is that like they only have so big of a context. So like they don't know what they're writing after a while. So like after a while they kind of lose the plot. So they'll write a bunch of stuff, and then like 20 pages in they forget what the story's about and they just start repeating themselves, and it sucks. Hopefully more otters. God, I hope so. The otters are so good. Stream's going good. Thank you. Yeah, no, we're having a good time. We've been talking about science and technology and medicine and all that kind of stuff. It's been fun. Yeah, it's not far. It's like 1 page. It sucks ass. Maybe it'll get better one day, but like right now it sucks. There was like this one dude that was like, oh yeah, in the future, every TV show and every movie is just going to be AI generated. And I think that guy is fucking crazy. Whoever says that is crazy. Like, that could happen. That could, but it's not with the current iteration of whatever you think AI is. There's no way. The current AI can never invent anything new. It can only just say what the most likely situation is. And the thing about it is that inventions don't happen in the most common denominator. They're not the statistically most likely thing to happen. Inventions happen on the margins. They happen in the area of space that is not the middle quartile of data, right? And ultimately AI is focused on the middle quartile of data, which means it's just going to make the same shit over and over and over again. It can't make things new. Not the way it's developed now. Could AI make a better movie than Morbius? That's a great question. That one I don't know about. I don't know. But the thing is that like probably because Morbius is like a below average movie statistically. And like, here's the thing. I think that if you asked AI to write a movie and make a movie for you, and if it was the current developed version of AI, what it would do is make the world's most mid movie of all time. It would be so boring. It would be like the most 5 out of 10 movie of all time, every single time. You know what I mean? And at best, you'd get like a 6 out of 10. Occasionally, it might write something that you're like, oh yeah, that was like a 6. But you would never get anything good. Because statistically speaking, most movies are mid, right? And that's how AI models work, is they write the most mid of that thing. So like if you're asking it for code, it's going to write you the most mid code of all time. If you ask it for a movie or an image, it's going to write you or make the most mid thing of that of all time, right? Yeah, it's going to make the most mid Pixar movie. It's going to make fucking like The Good Dinosaur every time, which maybe it wouldn't, but it would also like never iterate or make new themes. It would never make anything. And it's stupid. Why would we want that? That's what I don't get about it. Yeah, like that's the thing is that the models that we have are trained on every piece of text that any human has ever written in the world. So it's like there's not new stuff to put in it until humans come up with new stuff to put in the model. So like you're never gonna it's never gonna invent anything. It doesn't. It's useless for that. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. Like you can only feed a computer so many pieces of text. Yeah, every time, what it will do is like if you have writer's block, I think that you can like be like, hey, I have an idea for a story, but I don't know how to start it, right? Like you could be like, I have an idea and I want this setting and I want like kind of like these ideas. Here's some examples of some stuff that I've written and I want to like sort of like make something of this style, but help me get started. Just write like a paragraph. It might be okay for something like that, and then you could take that thing and be like, oh, you know what, that's a cool idea, let's start it this way, and I'll go a different direction with it. That, fine, you know what I mean? Because it'll give you, like, you know, get you out of your writer block, sure, whatever. But, like, for it to be like, oh, yeah, write my whole story, dude, the stories are always so stupid. They take, like if you ask an AI to write a story, it's always like, it's like when Noodles writes a story, right? You ask Noodles to, like, tell a story about something, and Noodles will come up with the dumbest shit you've ever heard in your life. You're like, this was the most mid story. It's so stupid. You're like, this is not funny. And that's why I think Noodles was funnier when he was on ChatGPT 3. Because, like, while he didn't have as much technology behind him, what made him funny is that, like, he didn't write the most mid sentences. He had this, like, random chance to just say garbage, and it was funny. I don't know. It's even trained on furry /fic that you wrote in 7th grade. Probably, if you uploaded it anywhere ever, then probably. I know that it's it has eaten all of the fanfics of all time, and that's been proven. Like, if it's on fanfic websites, it's probably there. Oh, yeah, watch how good this story is.
Assuming the manner of theatrical storytelling, twirling tail for emphasis O Dusky Wolf 31. There once was a time Sync dialed a pizza place asking for extra dragon scale shavings.
Whoa!
Imagine, when challenged, Sync claimed it was biochemical research. Laughs uncontrollably, clutching stomach awe, delightful whimsy, right?
See what I mean? He knows that biochemistry is a thing, and then he just repeats it. It's stupid. It's so dumb. It's just nothing. I don't know. I never understood it. You can get it to like write a couple things, and I've said this, like even when you like get like the other models that like if you wanted to write like a horny story, like it can be hot or interesting sometimes for like a couple paragraphs, and then like it just loses the plot. It like never has a plot. All the stories are just like scenes of stuff that just like repeat themselves. It sucks so bad. It's not a vor stream. Stop it. Lilith and Lucifer in the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve, and like the point of the story was how positioning the perspective makes a story. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean is like humans can come up with interesting ways of like coming up with like to look at things, and I don't think the AIs as written can. So, yeah. Old Noodles would put like 10 lines about Bruno Mars. That's true. That is true. That's why I took that shit out, because I was tired of listening to him talk about tax evasion and Bruno Mars. The whimsy is so delightful, you cannot? What do you mean? Dude, that's what I mean, Raccoon of Chess. I miss when AI was fucking weird. Like, my favorite era of AI, and AI, like, art generation or story generation, was when, like, it was worse at what it does. Like, people like the AI as it is now because it's, like, useful or whatever. Because, like, it generates stuff that's, like... It generates stuff that's like, oh yeah, here's some code that you can use, or like, you know, basic entries or whatever. But it's like, it's so robotic now, and it just makes the same shit over and over again. I miss when AI made like some really wild stuff, like Onbo. That shit was funny, and when it was funny, it was good. And then like, well, not good. It was like useless, but it was funny. And now it's like ridiculous. It's boring. It's like too samey. I don't know. Jerry picked up his pencil, which is a long piece of wood with graphite in the middle, which you can draw with. AI really enjoys to... Yeah, it does do that a lot. It like, again, it just repeats itself, which I don't know. I hate it a lot, but I don't know. I do think that like it's a good technology, but I think it has its limits, and I think people are overestimating how good it is for that. I think the best use case for current AI is things like, hey, summarize this information for me. You know, do this thing that would take me a long time, but you can do it easily, but it's a simple task. Like, hey, write this simple code that I know I could get on Stack Overflow, but like, I don't want to write it, or look for it. That is good for, it's good for like writing little emails that like I don't want to have to write, you know. Yeah, write this boilerplate code that I don't want to do. You know what I mean? I think it's really good for like summarizing things. Like if I feed it a paper and I could be like, hey, give me the points, give me the take home, right? Like I don't want to read this whole paper. Just give me the takeout, hit me with the data, tell me like what, like, and explain it at a level that's like more layman. Really good for stuff like that, because you can give it information and it's good at summarizing it. But like it's useless for creative endeavors. It's useless for like coming up with things that are not already in existence. So yeah. But exactly, Jake. It's like really good for that use case specifically. And for everything else that everybody's trying to use it for, it's like, yeah, another technology might come out one year that like it will do better at, but like it's not going to change the world overnight, even if people think it is. You know what it's the best for? Unironically, here's what I hope ChatGPT does for the future, okay? Okay. Yeah, there's a meeting happening. I'm invited to this meeting. I'm going to be at the meeting, i.e. it's going to be on my computer. I'm not going to respond. I'll be over here doing something else. And when the meeting's over, just sort of summarize whatever the hell happened here because I'm not taking any notes. I'm good. My ass is not taking meeting notes. You just summarize the meeting. I'll be good. Basically turning the meetings that could have been an email into an email. Best use case scenario. I like giving it an educational video and having it create a multiple choice quiz if I get sick at 3 a.m. and students need something to do while you're sick at home. See, that's awesome. As long as you can fact check it and you can be like, hey, here's some information. Can you just give me a multiple choice quiz based off of the information in this? And just like based off of that, that's great. It saves you so much work. That's awesome.
08764, a rascal insinuation indeed. In the amusing ecosystem of virtual realities and actualities, I happen to
exactly, Jonas.
Lyric and ethics, shall we say. So, evasion? No. Twirls paw around matter-of-factly just sublime deduction skills at work.
That sounds like tax evasion, Noodles. Pretty sure that's tax evasion. But yeah, exactly, Jonas. I want an AI that does the interview and then does the job while I'm at home, and then I can just stay at home JOing all day, and like the computer makes me money. That would be sick. Or maybe we just get rid of money. You know what I mean? I think that like people that use AI as a tool and not as like a magic box that will solve the world is like fine. And I think once you understand that it's like a tool, like a spell checker, then you can get a lot of value out of it. Because like I found that it's like, yeah, I could write this code. I'm not gonna. I also have found like one thing it's really good at is being like, hey, my data is organized in this structure. I really want to run this data analysis on it. Can you just write me some simple code to generate this type of graph on it? And then it does that. And then I can go like, okay, I've got the code. I've got the framework. I can edit it to make whatever I want. That's good. Really good for that. Reorganizing data, writing code for that, running math, things like that. Really good. But and like the use case that person up there said, where it's like, hey, I just want to make a quiz for my grade schoolers. Awesome. It's really good for that. It's really good for like summarizing papers, emails. It's really good as a tool. It's so good as a tool. But like it's so useless as this thing that's like a magic bullet that people are selling it as. It's so fucking useless as that. It makes me so sorry. Frick. It's so freaking useless. I don't know, Echo. I don't know. I think that might have been one that he did on his own. He might have come up with that on his own. Tries to make grade schoolers solve the Riemann hypothesis. Teacher, what does the square? How do I solve squares? I'm 5. How do I do algebra? What does algebra mean? Sorry, I said a cuss word. I'm sorry. Yeah, the AI search engines are so bad. It's when you try to make it do too much that it just sucks. Like, it's like, what's the point, man? Why is there someone behind the surfboards? Don't scare me. You're gonna freak me out. Fuck you. You can do algebra? I don't believe you. Writing a resume is humiliating. Bro, I tried to make my ChatGPT write a resume. It was the worst resume of all time. I'll be honest. I sent that resume out after I like I'm like, here's my resume. Can you rewrite it for me as like in like an updated or whatever? It sucked. It was so bad. Like every single bullet point was like optimized, synergized, blah, blah, blah. It just sounded AI. And so like I just had to rewrite the whole thing in like human terms because it didn't sound like a human wrote it. It sucked. Yeah, the Clam Club rules. I love it here. I like having a house. It's still weird to me that I own this thing. It's very strange. Lickies. How about just doing what feels natural? How about you get licked? Let me snoot you. Snoot. You're 5 years old, you can do algebra? You're not busy, you're 5. There we go. Femboy mode, hang on. I was wondering if somebody would redeem this, hang on. Femboy mode. We do it this way. People are going to be like, TOS, you're not wearing pants. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Doing what feels natural? Yeah, that's why I don't wear clothes. I try not to, you know? You wish people used the night version mode? Dude, people use the night version all the time. It's actually low-key more popular than the day version. Most people don't like the day version. Most people like the night version of the world. I'm thinking I would like to update it so that like it would be cool if we could have like a live thing, which we talked about originally, but it's a little performance necessary. Clothes are not necessary. AI will just make it. Yeah, I got socks on. It's not. I'm not naked. What do you mean? It's fine. I'm a Ken doll. Exactly. There's nothing going on down there. Don't make it weird. It's fine. Socks let you pass TOS is a cute take. Listen, what are you, a fucking cop? What are you gonna do? Tell Jeffrey Bezos that I don't have pants on? Is that the problem? Try it. You see what happens. See it. We'll try. I'm gonna go to the Switzerland mountains. Why? Do you ever wonder if Bezos peeks at streams, like furry streams? Almost certainly not. There's no way that happens. I don't think that dude gives a shit about what happens on the internet, to be honest. Yeah, it might. I think it might turn something on in him. It might break him. Bezos likes femboy socks. He told me. I don't know if that's true. I have my doubts about that one. Oh yeah, that actually is true, Astolfo. Try not to say like I'm whatever age if you're like, even if it's a joke, like they will fucking find your chat log and be like, well, you're the wrong age, you have to get banned. Unironically, don't even say that. Like, it's like a problem. But yeah, if Bezos is a furry, he'll donate so much money to trans kids. I mean, yeah, that's like saying like, wasn't there like a meme that it's like, oh, Elon Musk is a baby fur or whatever, which is obviously nonsense, but yeah. Someone can just report you like in the Discord. It doesn't meet TOS. Exactly, exactly. Be careful. I don't think anybody in our community would do that, obviously. You know what I mean? I have said many times before that, like, I got nothing against baby furs, obviously, and that they are welcome in my community, so... Toe beans. Oh god, this one's gonna be a real sus toe beans. You could not have picked a worse time for me to do toe beans. Now this might get me banned off Twitch. Yeah, the bot just says I must ban automatically. Hold on, chat. Stay up there for a second. Just let me park myself down here. Hang on, this is gonna look real sus. I don't know about this one. Hang on. What's the most sus, like not sus way for me to do this? Beans. Beans.
Not.
Still sus? Well, what are you gonna do? It's nothing I can do. Well, it's been a good run, guys. We did our best. We did our best. We tried not to, but we did our best. We got the Shenny belly. Yeah, that's true. He did have the mouse. He ain't a baby fur.
Right to jail, right away.
What a time to tab back over. Hi, Kit. Hi. Okay, I'm coming back up there. Try not to beans challenge. Yeah. Put me back on the ground. Put me back on the ground like a normal person. Thank you for the bits, Dusky. Thank you. Those beans are gonna get you killed in Elden Ring. Oh no! Could do worse. Imagine baby for Eaglon. I would rather not, to be honest. I don't think I can handle that. There's probably enough like insanely rich tech baby furs already. In fact, I already know that that's true. I'm pretty sure that's true. I don't need more. I'm good, actually. He has a horny alt. I don't think that's true, Aces. There's no way. Also, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't give a shit, bro. Let's just not. I really don't care. Like, I just don't care. Me and Gar gonna do Elden Ring co-op thing? Yeah, but we put it to the side for a little bit. We kind of decided that like the collaborations were, I mean, it wasn't the most popular thing on my channel. I really enjoy the content, but it wasn't doing that well. Just because I don't think it's the normal type of content that I normally do. I still love working with Gar, and I've been talking to Gar about like maybe doing it once every month or something like that, just as like a thing every once in a while. But I'm trying to get back into the variety streamer thing and just do a little bit more variety. So yeah. I did hear about that, Zen, although I'd rather not talk about it. The Dragon Enjoyer is a tag. I think when I looked it up, I'm like the only person on Twitch that uses Dragon Enjoyer. Ooh, I felt that pop in my shoulder. That was intense. I gotta go climbing tomorrow morning, I guess. Forgot about that. If this is what you can get banned for, I'm actually gonna riot because of all the things you get away from it. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna get banned for this. Nobody's even gonna talk to me about this, to be honest. Like, if there was ever anything, like if like the mods actually got at me for this, there's way worse stuff on this app than like me wearing some femboy socks and having a null avatar or whatever. The truth is, it's actually really hard to get banned off Twitch. Like, really, really hard. Puppy noise from the Kobold is odd. What do you want me to do? Yip. Yip, 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 yip. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm not. I'm just, it's just the TOS stuff is a joke. Don't worry about it. You were supposed to work out tonight, then you fell asleep. I woke up in the morning, and woke up really, really early, with like a headache. And then like, I was like really tired. So like I went downstairs to try to sleep a little bit because I didn't want to bother Puck. But I ended up like just sort of staying down there, just like waiting for the Advil to hit for a while. Then I just passed out for like another hour, and then it was noon, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta stream soon. It was crazy. Fooster will probably not be happy. Why? Because you didn't work out today? Twitch thinking, well, if we ban the furries, we lose money. I don't think furries are the biggest source there. It's a whale economy, right? They make most of their money off of the biggest streamers on Twitch.
Sound like the seagulls from Finding Nemo, except they're saying a rude word.
Yip, 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 yip. Yippee Wolf, welcome to the Clam Club. Thanks for coming on by. Thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. More workout buddies, and you skipped twice this week because the work just kicked your ass. I mean, that's valid. Well, my workout buddy is Ben for the climbing gym. And I think he's free tomorrow. I'll probably do it tomorrow. If it's in the morning, I got to figure out what's going on. If it's in the evening, I don't know if I can go. Because I will say, update for tomorrow, by the way. It will be a later stream again tomorrow, by the way. Just to let you guys know. Because I have an interview tomorrow at like 2 o'clock. So it's 2 to 2:30. So I'll probably stream at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Just because I have to do my interview. So I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop stream, and then go do my interview and then come back again or whatever, because that seems kind of meaningless. So I'll probably do a later stream, and then maybe we'll do like Life is Strange for a few hours or something like that. We'll see. I want to figure that out still. We're still figuring that out. But I think it'll be good, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate that. But I'll make a post in the Discord to remind people, just to let people know that like I won't be live at 1 o'clock. Obviously, the interview takes priority. And then maybe I'll have an on-site interview as well next week, which means that maybe there will be a day of the week that I have to cancel the stream. But I wanted to let you guys know ahead of time so that there's not like a surprise or anything like that. If you ever win the lottery, you're going to buy parts of Twitch and make them an official furry mascot with a team.
Gazes
that would be
into
cool,
the
yeah.
distance, whiskers twitching and thought phenomenally fantastically esoteric stuff. Omegaverse is Astolfo_kitten. It's a tantalizing tapestry of lupine hierarchy, biology-based drama, and primal charms, all set in alternative universes. Chuckles fascinating moves for those who joyfully explore the unconventional.
Apparently he knows. But yeah, if I had $1 million, if I won the lottery, I would probably like buy a giant like property and move all my friends into it and make them not pay rent. That would be sick. He does not search Google, actually. He does not. He doesn't have internet access, but his database is updated to like 2023 or something like that. So he has a lot of information from history. So he kind of knows a lot of stuff. He scraped most of the internet. So yeah. But yeah, I wanted to let you guys know ahead of time. Some interviews might happen over the next little bit. If I get the job, I won't stop streaming, but I will probably stream a lot less for a little while, just because I will be settling into the job, and I need to make sure that comes priority. So it'll probably cut streams down to like 2 times a week, maybe 1 a week for a little while, then back up to 2. But for a little while, it'll cut back the streams I can do for a little while. But we'll see. Yeah. I don't want to get ahead of myself and I want to see what happens first. But yeah. Actual Clam Club Beach House IRL. That's what I'm saying. Dude, I'm saying we could buy an island like we talked about.
Cheer 50, who is running for president currently in 2024.
You did, yeah, 100. He might say Joe Biden. I'm not sure he knows. I'm not sure he'll actually know or not, to be honest. But thank you for the bits. I would refund you if you could, but I don't know how, so I don't think I can. Sorry. You're gonna go watch the vampire show? Thanks for streaming. Thanks for coming by, kitten. I'll see you later. I'll talk to you later. We're almost done here anyway. I know I got on a little bit late, but I'll be honest, there's dinner soon, so I'll probably stream for like another 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll send you guys over to someone else. I would like to bring back the VRChat stream to make it like a once a week thing again. Especially if I get the job, I'll probably come back to doing that like weekday stream where it's in the evening on like a Tuesday, and we'll do the thing where we'll do an evening stream and do VRChat and stuff more often. You probably shortened my lifespan. Yeah, they're fun. These are pretty nice. Did I go to Anthrocon? I was at Anthrocon. Yeah, there's photos of me at Anthrocon. I had a fun time. When did the femboy outfit come on? Somebody redeemed it a little while ago. I could probably turn it off again, but I'm probably supposed to. But at this point, it's like the end of the stream anyway. I'll just let you guys have your fun, you know? But yeah, I did go to Anthrocon. Rudder time again. Uh-oh. Dude, these are getting me banned on Twitch. Oh, no, don't look at that. This one. Here you go. That's much better. Way more or less sus. But yeah, Anthrocon was fun. I had a fun time. Now this is going to get me banned on Twitch, dude. Now that's going to get me banned on Twitch. Now that's too much cheek. But yeah, Anthrocon was fun. I had a good time. What, shaking my butt? It's the fact that I'm like cheeked up back there with nothing covering my ass cheeks. I don't know. Please don't get banned. Trust me. If anything, it would be a brief suspension at worst. Yeah, don't worry. We're going to give the wing hugs and everything before we end streamed. I promise. I promise. I promise. But yeah, Anthrocon was very, very hot. I got heat stroke at Anthrocon. I did a stream where I talked about my time at Anthrocon. I had a lot of fun time. I'm going to go to Megaplex, but I'm not bringing my my otter fursuit. I'll probably bring the otter to BLFC. Probably. We'll see. But yeah. 141 streak is crazy. That's wild. That is a lot. That is a lot. Yeah, I'll probably bring the otter to that. I will say, like, the otter's starting to feel a little bit older. The fur's not quite as nice as it used to be and everything like that. But, yeah, I got really sick after Anthrocon for, like, a few days. Like, I got heat stroke, and then I got, like, a really bad fever for, like, a few days, and I couldn't cool down. And it sucked, and I felt like ass. And then I was really tired for a couple weeks. So I'm pretty sure it was COVID, though I never tested positive for COVID. So I don't know. No, I'm going to wing hug with the wings I'm going to turn on, you nerd. You absolute nerd. Yeah, the Ott's been around for a while. That fursuit's been around for like 6 or 7 years now. So it's getting there. I think it could use some refurbishments. The biggest thing for me is that the hand paws are a little bit like the fur isn't as nice as they used to be. I wish they were, but they're kind of not. Probably should like wash them and then brush them out or something like that before the con. Yeah, don't worry. There's going to be wing hugs soon. There's going to be wing hugs. Dude, printing your own Proot head, that sounds pretty fun. This is the only time I think Puck has ever asked you to check on me. I was fine. I did feel like I was dying, but I was fine. I made it through it. You know what I mean? People kept saying like, oh, you should go see a doctor or whatever. I'm like, what is a doctor going to say to me? He's going to be like, oh, go get some rest. And I'm going to be like, great. I spent $100 just to like sit here or whatever. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. The American, maybe if I lived in Canada where like the doctor was free, you know what I mean? If the doctor was free, I might have gone, but you know. I don't know. Have it for next AC. I'll see if I go to next AC. The thing is, if I get this job, it has no benefits. So the thing is that I don't get PTO technically, but I think I might be able to take unpaid time off. But I'll probably have to be careful about how much unpaid time I have off. But it depends on my manager. So the next year might be a little light on cons. But then hopefully by the time I'm done this contract for like a year, I can like move out to something that has like more PTO and everything like that. So yeah. Yeah, that's true. But I could have gone to a walk-in, so I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. I was always able to go to a walk-in back in Canada. It was fine. Your work has a cat, and they paid $200 to be told he needs to poop. I mean, yeah, that's the way it goes, right? I don't know. But I'm hoping to get the job. The job pays really well. I'll be able to save a lot of money. So worst case scenario, if I get the job and I can save a bunch of money, I'll be able to like, you know, save up money and then like be okay the next time that like I get late, or like, you know, if I can't get the contract renewed or like whatever, at least I'll have like, I had a decent amount of savings before this. I've gone through a lot of my savings now. But you know, I'm okay. You know, Twitch is kind of paying for the rent at least. So it's all right. It's all right. But I would rather be making, you know, real job money than like, you know, just Twitch money. But, you know how it is. Lickies. Again? Again? Come here. Oh, wrong way. Come here. Get over here. Now get out of here. Why does my left ear have piercing holes, but only the right ear has earrings? Why does my left ear have piercing holes? It doesn't? Oh, those are just spots. This here, these are like spots like you see here. They're like scales. Those aren't holes. Yeah. Yeah, those are just like little scales. Yeah, on this side, it's just it actually, I can see why you would say that, because it looks like those are holes for the piercings because they're very close to the piercings. But yeah, they're not actually piercing holes. They just happen to be mirrored scales. Yeah. Sniffies too. Oh my God, there are sniffies. I gotta get you back in here. Hang on. Get back in here. Get back in here. Chat, get in here. Pretty gay. Yeah, super gay. Like an 8 out of 10 gay. Oh, God. Get the camera out of here. Yeah, don't worry. I got socks on. It's okay. See? There's socks. It's okay. I'm not naked. We're okay. How much powder scent is in there? I don't know. There's a lot of baby furs in my chat. Probably a lot. The socks make it super gay. See you later, Jonas. Talk to you later. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I should probably wrap it up in a minute here, so I'm probably going to start wrapping it up here. I don't know, I just think I just repeated myself again. As a reminder, tomorrow I'm going to be live probably around 3 o'clock in the afternoon because I have my interview tomorrow. I'm going to probably spend some time in the morning prepping for that, so that's going to be like most of my focus tomorrow. We'll see about a stream. I should still stream probably around 3 o'clock. If I don't, I'll do a makeup stream later, probably. But I am busy this weekend, so I probably can't. We'll see. Anyway, next week, I should have a full week of streams. We're going to go back to, I think, Mondays are going to be our indie horror game. I've got a huge list of indie horror games from Corgi Cam that I think are going to be a lot of fun to play. What I was thinking is that we could sort of take a page out of Shia Bun's like thing where they have like a big wheel of games, and we'll just spin the wheel of games. We'll grab a game off of the wheel and we'll play that. And I think we'd just do that on Mondays, because I think the indie horror games were really fun. People seem to really be enjoying that. So I think that'll be really fun, sort of a random game day. So I won't even know what we're playing that day until we're live on stream. You have to find out. You got to be there to find out what we're going to play. I think that would be really fun. We're going to have a wheel of horror. Exactly. I think that'll be really, really fun. I think we're going to get into Life is Strange True Colors. We're going to do more VRChat streams next week, probably on Tuesday. That'll be like our normal day. That's going to be, I'll post a schedule, hopefully this weekend, if I have some time to do that. So that'll be a thing. And then one other game, I don't know what that other game is going to be yet. We'll figure it out. You know, we'll do it live. We'll figure that out. But yeah. I know you're finishing up with the popping up, say adorable, and have luck with the interview. Thank you, Ashley. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Thank you. It should be really fun. Yeah. Yeah, let's get those wings. We're going to get the wings on. 1 second. Wings on. Enable. We got the wings. But yeah, that's the plan for the next little bit. I do want to plan a bonus stream with my husband. That's something I owe you guys. I also owe you guys a fursuit stream still. I'm going to be honest. It might have to be a day where I can get the office nice and cold. Because it's really, really hot in my office right now because of the weather. So I'm going to plan for a day where the weather's a little bit nicer so that I can actually like wear my fursuit and not actively die for 3 hours because that sounds like hell. So that's going to be a thing. So, and I would like to see if I can make sure that I get a good camera for like camera quality and whatnot. So that's going to be a big thing too. But yeah, let me go see who's streaming right now. Let me go look. It does really look like I'm naked, huh? It really does look like I'm naked, like a lot. 1 second. Take me to, close other tabs. Take me to Twitch. Who we raiding out here? Who we got out here? Who out here trying to get raided? Who out here trying to get raided? You know what? Let's raid Swell. It's been a minute. We'll raid Swell. Hit him with the sync ot. If you got that, sync ot. I think that's a good emote that we can send you off to. Let's see, where is it? Don't forget, don't worry, we're gonna get the yeah, we could do this one too. This can be the raid message, or that one or the other. You can use whichever either you want. Let's get you your let's get you in here. Get you in here. Come here. Come nice and close. We're gonna get you your wing hugs. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, guys. I had a great time. Stretch your wingies out nice and big. And we're going to come in for a nice hug. Grrr. Wing hugs. Rawr. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. Let's grab this camera. Get you out of my crotch here. Yeah, no, don't zoom into crotch. Get out of here. I'm going to send you guys off to Swell. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, guys. Gear up for the raid. I'll see you guys tomorrow with maybe Life is Strange, maybe another game. We'll check that out. But keep some eyes on the Discord. I'll let you know what happens there. That'll be the primary place I communicate with you. But for now, have a nice day. Spend some time with your friends. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone. Can you guys start a raid? I'll start the raid as soon as I hit the button. But I'll see you guys later. Bye, everyone. Bye. Stick around for the raid. I'll be right back. Or I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.